try this again.
Congratulations, us. We've been talking to you for about 3 minutes now, thinking we were live.
Take 2.
Apparently we were wrong.
Welcome to the stream. Yes, Aid, as it turns out, you definitely did have time to make a brew, because we failed miserably. Yeah, that first bit you didn't get, by the way. Well, really close behind. Like, if I put my cup down now, and it's on the stream, it's really dull.
I genuinely don't know what's going on right
Now, so it's about 10-second delay still, give or take. This is the content you will come for, isn't it?
now. Music's too loud.
No, music is on OBS.
Thank you,
Surrender.
Sean.
It's the middle one where it says desktop audio. Yep, that one, and just pull the slider to the left. All the way down. There you go.
Hey!
Hey! And, like, it should be working now?
Yeah. We're still super quiet, apparently. How loud have I got to shout?
Well, it would have been over the audio.
Yeah. Yeah, were we just quiet because the music was loud, or are we, like, actually just quiet?
Both. Right, if you... So, Yolanda, if... Yeah, increase boom mic, and then increase mic 1 as well.
Yeah, Matthew's like, turn people up, music down. By the time that message
Yes.
arrived on my screen, we'd already turned the music off.
Yeah. Yeah, music is there as filler.
Yeah, we need to be louder.
Sean is offering real
More
time.
loudings. Yeah, Sean is also giving
Yeah,
us...
we've got a housemate shouting down from upstairs. I just need to shout, no big deal.
Yeah. Okay, put the slide... How far off at the top are you on the slider?
Nearly there.
Max it!
No, because then it hums.
Oh, okay.
The day that I've actually, like, posted it on Twitter and tried to tag a few people in is the day that...
They rate.
It's alright.
Cool.
Part of the
Hopefully
fun,
that should be
isn't it?
sounding a lot better. As you can see, we didn't necessarily test this again. We instead added more tech, so it does more cool things, but fundamentally we didn't fix the sound.
Yeah, obviously, the way we fix sound problems is by adding another computer with another display
A
feed
second
into the
microphone.
system, another microphone, which we haven't leveled.
Not wearing our mics. So,
Yeah.
once again, we've got a bunch of stuff we need to do on the car. And I'm saying this only as a holding until somebody can fill us in on how loud we are.
We're still too quiet, apparently.
I've nearly maxed out boom in mic 1.
Karen's like, there's no change. Matthew's like, no better. Nothing is changing, apparently.
And
Like, apparently Yola's twiddling all the dials and stuff.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that was a lot.
I was going to say that
Yeah.
was quite
Yeah.
loud.
Now, if you talk now, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, am I actually coming up at, like, I don't know, neg
I
10 or something?
Completely peaked everyone, so everybody went deaf very briefly.
Excellent.
Buffy's like, there! Yeah.
How are we doing?
Sounding good for me now.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
What did
Have
you
we
do
finally
all
cracked
night?
it? So what we did, we turned the things up until they went red, which I don't think we've ever done before.
Yeah, so Maffy, when I turned it up until it was there and then went down, I clipped off the top of the gauge, so yeah.
We're good at this.
I can move back in a little bit.
Wow, loudness. Yes, fix.
Right. The problem is when I'm adjusting it, no one's talking, and then Chris talks, and it goes boom right off the top of the scale. So I'm hedging bets at this point, and let's see what it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so last time you saw us, we were making up these panels for the Thunderbird, which we have now done. But there's a load of other stuff that we were doing at the same time, including.
I'm doing my glamorous assistant thing here.
All of these massive bumper supports. Clang a lot of stuff around. Now, one thing I mentioned was how insanely heavy these pieces of bumper support are. This piece alone probably weighs about 3.5 to 4 kilos and is about 4 to 5 mil thick steel. So it is a little bit excessive. Lando wants to switch the camera. There you go. So yeah, these are excessive, and there are 2 of these, and then 2 of these to hold the bumper on. And I guess when you consider that the bumper weighs
quite a lot,
probably about 40 kilos itself, then being held 18 inches off the front of the car, it needs some heft. But you can also see really badly where it's kind of been eating out. You can just see where all. Like, this is smooth, and then rust has been eating into it here, but I'm not going to replace it because
It's fine.
look at the thickness of it.
Yeah.
There is one problem though. This is the other one. This is the other piece of that 3-part assembly that holds the bumper in, and you can see there is a small problem with this one.
The front fell off, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot that went away. However, I made another. So I'm getting quite good with this sheet metal bending and fixing all this stuff up. It is good fun and I am enjoying it. So maybe if I don't get a career in media, I can always go into panel beating. Hooray! Yeah, oh, and it's also filthy by the look of it. So yeah, so I need to decide whether or not I'm going to make another one of these to replace this one, which I guess it would be nice.
And you kind of want to, don't you?
No, because there's loads of other bits that I need to replace, like this one. So this was on the very, very front of the car, and this is a dead straight piece that connects from the hood latch at one end onto the lower cross member behind the bumper.
Except it isn't
and you
dead
can see it's absolutely dead straight, where I have beaten it back into being a straight line. Yeah. I thought I'd done really well making this back to its original shape, but actually...
You finally found a reference image or something, wasn't it? There was
Yeah.
a schematic that you'd been looking for ages, because we couldn't figure out what shape any of this stuff was supposed to be or where it was supposed to go. He finally found one and kind of looked at this piece and go, oh shit,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not meant to be that shape.
This should actually be dead straight. On the other hand, it only attaches here and here.
As long as it's
and
the right length, it's probably
nothing
fine.
else should matter. So I think for the time being, I'm going to just fit this one in again, paint it up. 'Cause it's not rusted, which is the annoying thing. It's mostly fine.
Had the same it's made of Subaru.
Yeah,
Glorious Subaru steel.
yeah. Well, this one's not Subaru. This one.
Well, no,
this
not
one's
that
better.
one. The one
But
that
the other one,
deleted
yeah,
itself.
yeah. The weight delete on this one is a little bit extreme. I mean, this one's even been brazed back together at some point. Like somebody really, genuinely cared to braze this back in with some brass, because they're not meant to be attached to anything. They just fold in, and yeah, this one's more than folded in. But they are not the things that we're going to be doing today. Actually, before we go on that, you're probably going to want to throw the other camera up because
Shall I go grab the wing? Or is
Yeah.
this different?
So we were also trying to explain to you.
Just while Chris walks past the.
Okay.
So we were-
Stop it and I'll just
Yeah.
carry it in from.
So we were also trying to explain to you quite how big the wing is compared. Like the
We're
studio
going
is
for
not a. This isn't
2001 Space
This
Odyssey
isn't too
moment.
much of a small room. Like this isn't too bad. However, there is also a monolith just coming in off
You
the
need to
side
leave
of
it.
screen. I'm gonna have to put this down here because otherwise we're
This
gonna...
is fairly large. It's
Yeah.
actually bigger than I thought. I might have to move the laptop from the end.
Yeah.
Oh, just
I
grab
got
my
it.
phone.
Oh God, I haven't got it. It's heavy.
I do not got.
It's heavy when it's like this long. So, put over that way.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
This feels like the wrong way up.
maybe.
Should we flip it over?
Maybe. So this is the wing off the car, fairly evidently, and it is pretty damn
Hang on.
massive.
Let's do the sensible thing.
So yeah, let's.
Flip it and try not to hit any of the lights or anything as we go.
Lost a piece of. Yeah, that shouldn't be in there. So yeah. So this is the wing, and hopefully this is going to be the blue that the car ends up being. And you see what we were saying last time. If you watched the previous one, go watch it. When
Not
we
right
said
now, but later.
when we said it was difficult to do anything with this in the room because like this is hard.
This is
However-
the room.
Yeah. However, I did want to try and show how this kind of fits back together. So yeah, put that down. Put the back end on there.
Maffy seems petite.
Oh, it's full of patina.
This
So,
may even
Chris-
have enough patina.
Yeah. So Chris is going to have to try and put this into the right place if he can remember.
Is this the right side?
Probably not actually. I mean.
Yeah, this is the bottom here, and that's the side that goes against it.
All right. So I made it.
We planned this ahead of time. We're very good at
Yeah,
this.
we did. Look, I brought it with me.
Yeah.
So I might
So-
have made it a bit too difficult for you.
No, you know what? I'm still totally confused. Hang on.
Yeah, that way around,
Yes.
and it goes in somewhere in there. Like I literally
Like that.
can't help you at this point, but you
No,
should
that's
be able
fine.
to
That
see
is
the
pretty.
old
It's
marks.
pretty much that.
Yeah. So this fits in under here. The wheel is obviously inside this, and this is the splash guard to stop when you go through a puddle,
Yeah.
just launching water up into the back of the car.
And all this rubber on the edge is just to make up for the fact that Ford don't know how to make two pieces of metal fit each other.
Yeah, basically.
So they just fit.
So that fits around, it
I
tucks
like
around
that.
under the rail.
It actually goes a little bit further forward, but I can't get it there because my sofa's in the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
But close
so,
enough.
Right, let's excise this.
I'll leave you deal with that bit.
Yeah. Now, the inside of here all needs cleaning out, and I have done the other one of these wings. I've sanded it all back, and it's not actually looking too bad. There is evidence of some filler on this one as well as the other one. There was a lot more on the other one actually.
Some.
Now I'm giving this a proper look over. There's a little bit down the bottom of here where they've basically punched holes through and then put filler over the top, so it's got something to bond in.
I like how looking from here, I can just see a layer of filler. There's a rust hole around here, and I can just see where the edge of the hole is.
That one might get a patch. And on the front of here, they've done the same, where there was obviously a dent. But on the other one, I took all the filler out and probably put 20% back in, and it looks fine. So I'm going to do the same on this one. Take all of this underseal out, but at least it got undersealed at some point, being... As this car spent most of its life in Pennsylvania, as far as I can tell, I am glad they undersealed what they could.
On the other hand, the metal's
to...
also thick that it... Well, no, I say that,
some
but
bits.
the other one, you sanded some of the filler out
Yeah.
and went all the way through. They were actually proper full...
On which bits?
Wasn't it the other way, or was it something
no,
else?
no, I got all the way down to it, but it was
Oh,
just
right,
dents. No, it was...
Which was it? Which bit
It's
was it
the
that was
rear
full of holes
quarters
then?
that are just like...
Oh, right,
fall
okay.
away.
Because I thought there was some that you'd sanded a bunch of filler away, and you just sanded more filler and more filler and more filler, and you go, oh, there's air behind that filler.
So yeah, it is, as I'd point out, maximum Bondo. Vintage American Bondo, which probably means it's cancerous as well, but... Never mind. I did wonder actually when I was sanding everything off just how much lead there was in the undercoat, and then I put it out of my mind and got on with it anyway. So that can go away.
I'll just put it on my lap, yeah?
Yeah, just pop it down behind the sofa. I see what there is.
I genuinely don't know where to put this right now.
Take
just swing it over the microphone.
Yeah, avoid the laptop. So, what we are going to try and do today instead is not actually anything with the Thunderbird other than that small update on other bits and pieces that we have done while I just clang all the heavy bits around. What we are going to do is look at making the radiator surround for the kit car, because there is a decent sized radiator, well, a decent thickness radiator on, which I think I put down by Chris.
Yep.
Maybe. I did.
Oh, I had water in it.
We've never put water in it. How
No,
did they get
the weather
water?
put water in it because it was outside.
Yeah, that seems fair. So, Yolanda will be
fine,
able
stable.
to show the video of when we started installing this, because I did do a little bit of prep for tonight. Not as much as I should have done with the sound, but shut up. So,
With any luck, somewhere on
admittedly,
OBS
this is,
we've
to
got
be fair,
queued
this
up.
is quite tricky for her to do because the laptop's set up and then the extended screen is on the right, but actually it shows a preview of it on the left, and it's a tiny preview, so it's not actually that helpful. So
I think
Yolanda
we're
should be
ready.
able to play the first piece of video, and
I lost my mouse.
yeah, you will do, yeah, because it's tiny.
Right.
Well, if you hit play, I can cut.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah,
One sec. It also
there we go.
doesn't
So
Oh my god, where'd my hair go?
yeah,
Oh,
it does go full screen.
it does.
Right, yeah, there you go. So, this is us looking at the original radiator from the A3 that we thought would be a brilliant idea to fit, and
It's a
wasn't.
bit big.
Because it was
Yeah.
absolutely massive. It was far too far over, and we reasoned at the time that this was a stupid idea and it would never work.
Yeah, because what was it? It was something like, oh, for this to fit in the vertical height we've got available in the front of the car, we'd have to lean it forward like 45 degrees.
No,
That
more
would-
than.
Oh.
We were well down into
Yeah.
like the 70, 80 degree mark, and it turns out that's exactly what TVR did, and they went, well, it's fine. And it probably is TVR fine.
It bends around curves. It's fine.
yeah, so-
on reflection.
I will cut back on
But it was
that.
also too wide. It way overran the horizontal bands of the
it
chassis.
way overhung the outside. So if Yolanda then goes to the second video and puts it up,
I'm seeing that wobbling and it's scaring the hell out of me.
you can see where this new one fits really, really nicely in behind the bumper bar that we did before. There we go.
Beautiful.
So you can see how that fits in nicely, and the entire reason that we have this fitment is happenstance, basically. Oh, apparently that then cut to me chopping a load of bits to hold it in place. So go me. I cut that up, so I can't really argue with it. And then finally, you'll see the major problem that we have to deal with, because the radiator sits forward like this, and the plan is to put 2 of these fans. Now these are the smaller fans off that radiator pack, because they work, they plug directly into the loom, everything is nice and happy, but they are very much wider than the radiator when you try and tessellate them together.
Did we find the second one?
Yeah, I've got it in the box.
Okay,
I need
cool.
to
I'm
open
going
the
to
box.
chuck it here and I'll...
Yeah. So
yeah, 2 of them don't actually fit next to each other on here, so we're going to have to build something that spaces them out, which is tricky because we've also got...
I haven't opened this one, so I'm going to have to use a piece of Thunderbird like a knife. Don't mind me. We also find out whether or not I ordered the right one, which, admittedly...
We've had that ages now, haven't we?
Yeah, Stephen sent me the wrong one the first time, which was fine. Mistakes happen, and they just went, terribly sorry,
Unboxing.
we'll send you the other one. Yeah, we're doing an unboxing video on a second-hand fan that we already have one of, so...
Real exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the quality content you're here for.
The excitement
Thank you,
is
patrons,
only...
for funding this.
Yeah, the excitement is only how competent I was, which I guess is kind of exciting. So, that
looks about right.
should be...
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, one's remarkably cleaner because it's been in a box.
I'm gonna try and hold
if you
this
pull
whole
it back
thing
here,
together.
no, pull it back here and switch to 3.
Oh, and I can just lean it back, can't I?
Yeah, there you go. So, this sits like that, and as you can tell, these fans are a little bit wider than the whole car, the whole radiator all the way up to the tank. So we need to get as much of the fan area across as possible. 2 problems we have to contend with is, one, we have the fill tube down here, and we have the output tube down here, where the return is back into the system, which is all well and good, so we can space them like this. But, if Yolanda then cues up the video, which I think she did, and then I started rabbiting on, you can see the big piece of metal that we put in across the car.
Yeah, that nice
To join the
triangular
2
diagonal
together.
brace across the top.
Yeah, which works really, really nicely, and you can see me, I've put it in there, and it goes from this corner, hang on, 1 second,
So that one.
and it goes from this corner here
Through
across.
this fan.
So we have to mount this fan lower in order to avoid both the top mount that comes across here to brace the front, and high enough up that we miss the return line here.
We could just widen the chassis again.
Yeah, sure, just split it down the middle. Be fine. I mean, it still doesn't stop the radiator getting any thinner, any wider without we'll just redesign the radiator.
We'll just chop the radiator down the middle and...
Yeah, that seems perfect. So, that's kind of where we're at. We need to, watch it,
Yep.
pop that down there. We need to get these actually centrally located as best as we possibly can. And there is, of course, a couple more issues. One is this standoff on this side.
I still say the best thing to do with this one is just cut it off and get it.
I'm tempted. We just get this cut off and we get it capped, or we get it shortened.
Since that fan's blocking your line of sight.
Yeah. Or we just get it shortened dramatically way further down and just clamp it off. One way or the other. If we can avoid it, fine. If not, well, we'll have to. On the other side, we have the temperature sensor, which screws in right here. So that's a bit awkward. That sits on that side, and obviously we have the drain plug on this side and the fill tube there.
I bet we've got like a dozen very sensible people in the comments right now just saying, just put slightly smaller fans on.
No, that's the sensible idea. Oh, and just to make it more interesting, these outside bands here
Are part of the fan.
are part of the fan and spin with it. So we also can't have these touching one another either. They have to be slightly away from one another. So yeah, on the whole, errors were made and preparation H feels good. So that's,
On the bright side,
yeah.
the good news is that, I would say we have a plan, but really we've got more like 20% of a plan. So the radiator has these.
This kind of comes in as an inkling at this point.
More of a vague notion.
Yeah.
So the radiator has these 6 big convenient bolt holes that we can fit stuff to, and I have a 3D printer with a 300 and some odd mil print area.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, I can actually fit.
Yeah.
Yes, I can actually print.
We can print
a
something
thing
that fits
big enough to fit on there.
2 pieces
on my printer.
and it can be a clip in between the 2. It'll work because this is only 25 to the center, so we can make it 30 by What did we say the top was?
Whatever it was, I can't remember. Matthew is helpfully offering, why don't we simply weld the motor casing?
30 by 33. We could weld to the motor casing. I mean, I made this.
Yeah, we've
this
got
bracket on here, which is perfectly reasonable. We could weld.
We're on the wrong
things.
camera for that actually, so.
Oh, yeah.
But like, there's a three
Yolanda, if you can do the
spear
honors.
like thingy bolted onto the motor here that
Yeah.
we could weld onto that.
Yeah, so I made up this bracket, which goes around and gives us spurs out to the edge that we can bolt something onto, weld it onto, and it'll be fine and hold everything in place. So that's not really a problem.
Ace just had a really sensible idea, not you, different Aid.
Yeah.
How about just snip them down in diameter? Like, what if we just put 24 volts in them to spin them to like a zillion RPM? Just put a piece of sandpaper on the edge. That wasn't his idea, but shaving them down was
the evolution of.
Yeah.
We could. The downside with that is if there's at the moment, if there's any fluctuation and they touch one another, there is no interference other than a tiny little bit of rubbing, and it's not a problem. If they are so close together and something moves, they flex, whatever, and because I don't know how strong these blades are without the outer cap on.
Yeah, they might just flex.
They might flex.
Own,
they could flick into one another and then smash. So, yes. Or we could put smaller fans on, but actually I think these are 10-inch fans near enough. Oh no, these are 12s. So we could put 10-inch fans on. But at the same time...
That's our last resort. That's if we can't find a way to do the right thing the wrong way.
Yeah, if we can make this work, so much the better.
Yeah.
So
the appeal is these are really, really cheap because they're OEM parts and you can get them off scrap cars on eBay all the time for nothing.
They are all over.
And because we don't value our time like at all... The most cost-effective way is to take the cheap thing and spend a shitload of time trying to find a way to make it work, rather than just buying a thing that would work.
Doing the smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, originally one of the ideas that I had was to try and tessellate them. As I say, because you have this beam that comes across the top, tessellating them a little bit doesn't work so well. So it is going to need a big fan shroud that kind of comes across from this inner lip, the inner lip in here, and comes out and basically catches the edge of the fan and goes down. So, but that's in the centre there, and we can essentially get away with that. And that doesn't impede us on any hoses. We don't actually have to cut this off at that point. It doesn't, well, it's close to the plug on that, but that's not too much of a problem. And it doesn't get any of the drain hole, the drain plug down on this side. I moved the camera so it was a little bit easier and I didn't have to reach all the way down. So, yeah, so that fits a bit nicer. So yeah, basically we have rigged Chris's laptop up with a feed into, oh yeah, I didn't tell you, Landa, that, into camera 5. Heads up vision mixer.
I need to complain about doing.
No. I mean, we do need to cap a couple of these.
And this is the part where everyone learns how terrible I am at CAD.
Yeah.
There we go. So we have FreeCAD coming soon. TM.
Oh, it's up. So the idea is,
well, hang on, sorry.
actually, should we go back to the actual camera and I'll just try and...
says, it's a shame you have no mates with a 3D printer to make a smaller diameter fan blade. I mean, Chris could literally just print us some new fan blades.
I have actually seen a guy who made a bunch of custom fans for stuff, and it turns out because fan profiles are, like, to some extent, they're formulaic, you can punch in like an amount of input power, a rotor diameter, and a target RPM and stuff like that, and you can actually generate a 3D model of an optimal fan for it.
Yeah.
So in theory, we could.
We could feasibly do that. However,
I just don't know how.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the speed that these would potentially go at. I'm not sure whether or not there's a risk of delamination of the fan. Like if you build it that way through,
that way would be the strongest way.
That would be the strongest way, but I don't know if it would delaminate and kind of come apart that way, and then you just have a mass of plastic spinning around a motor, mashing its way into your radiator. I'm not sure how thrilled I am with that.
To be fair, PLA printed stuff is pretty robust. It doesn't bend. It's basically the appeal of it. It doesn't have give in it, but it is quite strong.
But yeah, so first up is to try and make these work, not least because all of the fans and wiring is just OEM spec and we'll plug in with the minimum of
it's nice because we're still using the factory ECU and fan controllers and everything. We can just take these, plug them straight in. I mean, to be fair, it is just a big 12-volt supply, right? So it's not to say we couldn't put these connectors on something else.
There's very limited levels of trickery, and to be fair, Matt has said that getting rid of the OEM fan controller is preferable, let's say.
It's like formulaic. What the hell?
No.
So I can't remember what it, but there are. I can't work out the words. I don't know the domain well enough to use the right words.
You can generate the right profile with enough maths thrown at it, and that's probably like how they do it at an OEM level. They will work out the speed they're running at, how much airflow they want to shift for a given size, and all the rest of it, and just math. No one will design these other than a computer that goes, "Yeah, I'll be fine," and just spits out the part. In a way, but as much as I know it will be formulaic from the point of view,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if formulaic is the right word, but there is like a.
There'll be a formula.
I suppose.
It's only fluid dynamics. How hard can it be?
Yeah, it's actually a fair point. PLA won't handle the heat because it goes soft at like 50, 60 degrees. But I can use like ABS or something.
Yeah, it'll probably melt. But
I mean, in the unlimited budget world, I'd print it in peak. Because I've got an all-metal hot end that can go up to 450 degrees. I can print like exotic materials on that machine. But,
however,
peak is also really, really expensive.
So
ABS will probably be fine. I think these probably are ABS, to be honest.
The current plan is either print something up to fit across the two, or bend it up out of a sheet of aluminium, and it mostly depends on what shape we end up having to make. Building the flutes to come up to it is probably easiest in plastic because it's not going to be... I mean, as much as it might be in contact with the radiator, depending on what temperature it would melt at, maybe ABS would be better for that.
Yeah.
And then aluminium with a steel skeleton to hold the fans in place. Because these are quite heavy. They're a couple of kilos, and even just spinning like that, you can feel there's a good deal of torsion on the motor itself. So I imagine they are difficult, let's say, to isolate. So the current plan with these was to make another one of these brackets, put it like that, and join the two of them together, so we have two mounts that work, hold them in place, and then either bend or print or something a shroud to go around them. But one way or another, we need to take measurements, because we've only had this radiator for 2 years, so we haven't really had an opportunity to actually take measurements.
And the fans for
12
it
months.
Feels like a year
12
or so.
months.
Yeah.
I ordered these during lockdown and to get them delivered. Oh, we've got loads of time. We should do the radiator. No. We did like anything but
magic.
We Are Racing points out PLA won't work. It needs to be PETG or ABS.
Yeah, that's what I.
But why buy something that
that
you can design and print for double the price?
That's pretty much the philosophy.
Exactly. So I think these two fans together were about 30 quid, which is why they were simple. And plus, we already had them because we had a donor car which had one of these fans in, so we could kind of start mocking up before I got the other two, because conveniently I sold the core because it was more efficient to sell the core as it was than it was to keep the two fans. Yeah, you've heard of Finenomics if you've seen Roadkill, but yeah. Finenomics, they basically buy a car out of a junkyard, spend a huge amount of money getting it running again, and then sell it back to the junkyard for the same amount that they bought it, with all of the new parts on. It's not a great way to do things. So
Matthew's made a really good point, actually. It's because designing and printing is fun, and as we all know, fun is better than good. So, well done, Matthew.
And it's Maffey, absolutely on brand, which I'm not. But,
I am. I got the beanie on. Oh, you got the mug.
Yeah. Also, buy our mugs. That was Yolanda's cue to put up the strap bar that said shop.pedalbox.show, but I'm not sure if it was 100% ready.
We're not quite as slick as Linus yet. We'll get there. Anytime you mention the mugs, shop.pedalbox.show.
Shop.pedalbox.show. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build this up and try. Well, not going to build it up. We're going to try and spec it up and design what we need, so we can decide whether or not we need to make a printed one in, as you say, PETG or ABS or something, or bend it up out of aluminium and steel, or a hybrid of both.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun learning experience.
Yeah. Now, I had this great idea. The reason we've got my laptop plugged in and stuff is we were going to do like a little picture-in-picture, and as we went along, I was going to be busy like tunnel visioned in on the laptop trying to do some CAD, And I've realised, honestly, it would just be embarrassingly bad if I tried that.
No, this seems perfectly reasonable. This seems absolutely reasonable.
Because the way I usually end up making stuff in CAD is I try an approach and I get something wrong and I have no idea how to correct the error. So I just delete everything and start over, which is not very time efficient, and it means I end up spending days to make even really simple things. And I'll be honest, I don't think I could do even... Actually, no, I'll tell you what. I could do just the bracket that holds these two together. Like, holds the fan... I could do a big plate that fits over the back and holds them both together. Except I couldn't, because it'd be too big for the printer. So scratch that guy. I could do 2 plates
that don't necessarily join them together.
Oh, actually, no.
You could make them clip. You could make them attached.
No, because my thinking is, what if we just put some channel, right? We get some U channel that bolts, like one side of the channel goes there, and one side we get some quite wide channel. So we've got a bolt there into the radiator.
Well, then I'd just bend it out of aluminium and just have a piece that goes flat across there, comes down, goes up and across, rather than U channel. You just have it as.
Well, no, I was thinking U because then I can do the bit of CAD that I know how to do, which is a properly like 2D extrusion, and I can go from here out to that bracket in just a fairly like chunky slab of material.
All right.
Because that I can actually do with some modicum of.
This right here, this is why we edit our videos and we don't just stream us working on the car, because there is so much. We could do a thing. No, we can't do the thing. But what if we did the thing? What if we did this thing? We can't do that thing because that would ruin the other thing. But if we ignore the first thing, yes, that would work. No, it won't work.
Yeah, pretty much everything on that car is like 3 or 4 iterations deep, and a lot of it should be more iterations than that.
Is there anything that's less than 2 iterations on that? That's actually on the car right now. The roll cage is technically 1 iteration, but there was a lot of thought and reading.
Are you sure you didn't get 80% through it and then go, no, I don't really like it, take it all off? And...
Yeah, there was... oh, no, actually...
No, we just had like 3 mental breakdowns while he was trying to work out how to do it.
Honestly, that was horrendous.
I did hear that you were in a bit of a state, especially the day the gas ran out.
Honestly. No, that was way before that. That was months beforehand.
Yeah.
Honestly, trying to get that thing working with all of the angles, and that is, to be fair, on a second iteration, because originally, as somebody pointed out on one of the previous videos talking about the cage, they were concerned with the A-pillars coming down and then going back in down towards the chassis. And really, their very valid point was that it would be stronger if the A-pillar had just gone down and then out into the very edge of the car itself. But then we would just had an outrigger coming out supporting it, which would then need to be braced, and you end up just moving your sort of weakest point elsewhere, as far as I was concerned. And I felt having the A-pillars going down around into the main body of the car, and then having a really massive brace between the two to stop them flexing sideways and joining that on as well, was stronger. Like, nothing the guy in the comments on the video, his points were all absolutely right. But it's an A-B option. You go one way or the other, and yeah, it was trying to make it do the things I needed it to do was hard.
It didn't help that you had to ship the stuff down to ignition to get the bends done.
Yeah, and also I didn't have a pipe bender at the house, so I couldn't really test anything and just like tweak it. It's about a 15-mile drive to ignition where we borrowed the pipe bender, but they were also using it, so we couldn't just take it. And they are open like 7 days a week, so they always have potential for doing things with it and developing stuff. So it is a little bit more difficult to try and do something like that. But it works. It's there. It's fine. You can pick the car up by any corner, and 3 corners come off the ground. I'm pretty happy with how strong it is, especially for something that I welded. So yeah. So we basically need to throw a pile of numbers and things. Matt Rocket power goal. Initially, the engine's going to be
enough to scare the bejesus out of us.
Yeah, probably. So initially, it's just taking the TT lump in first, which is 225 horsepower, and it will probably get breathed on to some degree to put it in the, I don't know, sort of 260-ish mark. Basically, whatever you can do on an OEM setup, which I seem to remember is in about the 260-ish brake, which is probably still enough in something that hopefully weighs under 800 kilos. I mean, that's nearly half what the TT weighs curb weight. I think the TT is about 1,400 kilos with all the bells and whistles. So we're going to be probably 55 to 60% of the weight of the TT, which I can't remember what its specs were to 0 to 60, but Yolanda will be able to maybe find it for me on parkers.co.uk.
I have a web browser. I can do that. No, I can't do that because I'm not interneted on my laptop right now.
I can do that. Oh, I made myself sad.
What am I looking for?
If you search for Audi TT 8N 0 to 60, you should get all of the options.
Why
Just
am I-
while I'm just going to natter on about things with people in chat while Chris is taking a few baseline measurements on these fans.
Yeah.
TT, which one?
8N Mark 1, 225 brake.
That's not in the options.
What is? So
Latest
do you-
models, 2016
No.
to 2014.
Oh, so it'll be like 1998 or 1996 to 2003.
I bet if you search for Mark 1
Is it a
TT
coupe
Wiki,
or a roadster?
Coupe. Roadster's dropped off.
Learn something new every
See,
day.
a proper roadster has no soft top.
yeah, it just doesn't have.
It just doesn't have a top. It's just there's three types. There's has roof, has removable roof, has no roof.
No
and
roof
only-
is the correct amount of roof.
Not in the UK.
Downplays the pros of this car.
Yeah.
Iconic styling, which you've got rid of.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Sophisticated interior,
Which
Which-
we've got rid of.
No, well,
yes.
no, we've relocated it to
Yes.
the
No,
studio.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yolanda's just relaying because you might not be able to hear because the mic's a bit directional. The iconic points of the Mark 1 TT are its iconic styling, which we've scrapped. The stylish interior, which we've moved indoors.
and it's great 1.8T engine.
And it's
To be
great.
fair, we've kept
with-
that. Yeah.
I'll take that with 30% of all of the best things. Well, 33.33% of the best things. So
Cons, not quite as good to drive as some rivals.
That's right, we're
that's what
fixing
we're going
that.
to fix. Yeah,
Fix.
that's what we're going to fix very
You
gradually.
want the
And yes, Aid, everybody needs an LSD in their life. The Golf already has an LSD, and the fact that I can kind of throw it into a corner and just go, oh, I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of this. Power! And it kind of fixes my problem for me. I love the little magician that lives in my gearbox. He is the best. He should be called, as far as I'm concerned, Rincewind lives in my gearbox, and I'm okay with that.
Is the TT not four-wheel drive standard?
Yeah.
It is.
They did
Oh, have
do
we
a
already
two-
been over this, by the
They
way?
did
Sorry,
do,
I don't know if that.
They did do a two-wheel
Yeah.
drive version of it, though. But
I
it didn't
was,
have an LSD.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
like.
I was trying to find information.
So, yeah, we still need to still need the 0 to 60. I'm just gonna have another.
Sorry,
Yes.
I started trying to connect to a Wi-Fi network, then remembered I'm on Linux, so I'm just giving up.
Are you ready to swap?
Yes. There you go. So that is Parker's lovely pile of information, which admittedly I can't see because the screens that are big enough for me to read haven't updated with the stream yet. But there we go. It's up now. I can tell you, as you already know because you've already seen this by this point. So the 0 to 60 of the 225 is 6.4 seconds to 60, which I don't know, I mean we should be able to do faster than 5, I guess. At that point, we should be in 4-point change.
I
But-
feel like, assuming we're not traction limited, because you do get a thing where, like, for a given amount of power,
Yeah.
you need some amount of weight to hold some amount of
Yeah.
gear
Yeah.
on the road.
Well, we have
properly.
big tyres with all of the weight over the back of the tyres for
Well, the
traction.
big tyres don't
so-
really help much, but hopefully we'll
To
have
some
sticky
degree,
tyres.
yeah, but
Um,
sticky tyres on.
But what's
yeah.
the formula? If I remember right, your 0 to 60 time, assuming you ignore drag, scales with the square root of horsepower of power to weight ratio, because you're at a given velocity, you'll have a certain amount of kinetic energy, and your kinetic energy quadruples with every doubling of speed.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're putting the same amount of, because the engine's making the same amount of power, so you're putting the same amount of kinetic energy into the car. So if you've got half of the weight,
divided by.
I don't know. I feel like.
So.
Oh no, I'm being dumb.
So stock,
Yeah,
based on 800 kilos, would be about 280 horsepower per ton.
it's linear.
Should it be?
Yeah, well, assuming you're not traction limited.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
if you had
yeah, yeah,
infinite
yeah.
traction,
Right, okay.
doubling your power to weight
Mhm.
would have your 0 to 60, I think.
Okay. So that's 280
Or would it?
against.
Yes, because weight scales linearly with the kinetic energy equation.
And I'm going to have to...
Or is it momentum that I you know what, I'm giving up. I don't know. Somewhere between half and 3/4.
In the comments, I should probably switch that back. If you can have a look and see and try and bench race for us with some
What was the
maths.
factory 0 to 60? 6.4.
6.4. Yeah.
Like, the worst case is times the square root, divided by the square root of 2.
Yeah. Which, as I said, so ANTT curb weight comes out at 3,020 pounds. Yeah, 1,370 kilos. So if we're going to be, say, 500 kilos less than that, give or take, hopefully.
Oh, of course, because we're not half the weight, are we?
Yeah, we're not quite half.
Okay,
yeah.
So... you know what? I can't be bothered figuring it out. I'll write a Python script to solve it for me later.
You're taking measurements on the fans. I'm naturally.
Actually, I've got a computer here. Why am I not?
Do the thing. Do the CAD stuff.
Yes, CAD stuff.
CAD monkey, CAD.
Yes, sir.
Right. So yeah. In short, to answer your question, I'm hoping for. Well, we will be at 225 horsepower first up. Probably breathe on it some to try and get it above 250-ish and see what it does from there. But I would hope it would be under 5 seconds to 60. I would be like genuinely...
I'd be stunned if it's not.
I'd be genuinely thrilled if it was under 4, but I think I'd also be terrified initially.
If we halved the weight, which we're not, but if we'd halved the weight over a TT, the best case scenario is that 0 to 60 scales linear with weight, and we'd be at 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Sorry.
No,
we'd be at 3.75.
We'd be 3.2.
The worst case is if it scales quadratically, and then we'd be 4.5.
Yeah. And if
I'm
it's
good at
anywhere,
maths.
somewhere in that, dependent on aero and sticktiveness of the tyres and traction limits and everything else, we can comfortably say we're probably going to be high 4s, low 5s.
That feels quite pessimistic.
I
wonder if it's going to come down to a point where actually you're limited by how fast you can swap cogs. Because does second get you to 60 in that, or would you need third, do you reckon?
I would imagine you could probably get to 60 in second.
Yeah.
It'd be the upper end. You might actually nose over depending on the tune.
It's probably still quicker than shifting.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we can always, see
Shut
if
up,
we
Maffey,
can,
that's rude.
see if we can get a DSG.
So if you put
weight.
1,000 monkeys in front of 1,000 CAD machines, I'll produce fans before I will.
I mean, you have been saying that you'd be doing.
I've been threatening to do this for north of a year now.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's neck and neck between 1,000 monkeys and 1,000 CAD machines and Chris.
I mean, what am I if not just a monkey in front of the CAD machine?
Asking it to love him.
Low-cost turbos with 380 do 4.6 seconds, so I'm guessing there's a traction limit.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we've got more of our weight is on our driven wheels.
Yeah.
So we'll have more traction.
And we should have demonstrably more aero by the time we put fat
Aero
wing
doesn't really
on.
help you at getting to 60.
What, to squidge down, to push tyres
Not-
down for
not
traction?
really.
Oh, I suppose
You're
it's coming
when you're
away
at
from so
standstill,
little,
yeah. By the time you're in second or third,
Yeah.
and your aero might if you've got proper, fully aggressive autocrossy time attacky style aero,
Yeah.
you might have some by 60. But also
Yeah.
by the time you're doing 60, you're probably not spinning the wheels anymore. So.
Yeah. Fair point.
Look at me bench racing like a champion.
So yeah, so this is the game plan now, is to basically put these two fans close enough together and far enough apart that they don't interfere. Well, first of all, close enough together and take some measurements to get the rest of these brackets put together so we can work out where we can position things on this. Now, they are pretty close. I'm trying to work out exactly where. I don't know, they need to move over a bit, which probably means they also need to move down a touch, which means they might actually need to be slightly off centre. Again, this is why we edit our videos. You're just along for the pre-edit ride at this point.
It's worked out fairly well for me, actually. Like, I'm finally doing this CAD that I've been threatening to do for so long.
So, I still need you to be... So I started making the intercooler intake ducts.
Oh god, don't start me on those
And
intercooler ducts.
Chris has already
honestly.
tried to make those and came up on a brick wall where, for some reason in AutoCAD, it just won't let you arbitrarily work from a fixed point in space. You have to work from a plane and go out. Like, okay, fine.
I bet you can if you know the right buttons.
But coming at it from a 0 point, the learning curve is steep. So I had a go at it because I've done a bunch of stuff in SketchUp before, and that's very easy to do that kind of thing with it. Dead simple. And I fought it and I built it absolutely fine, and it worked, and it was the right shape, all the dimensions were correct. And then I went to save it and it went, oh yeah, you can't do that in the trial version, you need an account. Now I have an account. I also have a free membership, which is their like not professional doing it from home trial setup, which means full functionality, but you've got a limited number of documents. Absolutely fine. And it had just not
Hey, we got Classic
registered
Britain
it.
in the chat.
Oh, bro.
What's up, dude?
So we started doing this, and it refused to update my account. The only way, once you go back in and say, oh yeah, no, I've definitely got this, and you refresh your
Just
account.
for a second, just for anyone who's just joined us, like Classic Britain, right now this isn't a car channel. This is Aid ranting
This
at
is,
Autodesk.
yeah, this is. Do you know what really grinds my gears? Bad shifting. Bad shifting grinds my gears, and when the synchromesh snaps, which I don't think I've ever broken a piece of synchromesh actually.
Matthew's just dunking on us Rover people right now.
Honestly, we've had so much love for the Rover in the last couple of days. Like,
This is the other hilarious thing, working on the car. There's so many delivery drivers who make a beeline to the car and be like, what the hell is this? Like, stupid? And if we're working on the car, do you know what? I've noticed something. People who are delivery drivers often drove SD1s.
In their past, yeah.
A lot of people's parents or they themselves had SD1s and then became delivery drivers. I don't know what that correlation is. Maybe there's some science to be done with some sort of wide-ranging poll, but in my limited experience of the last 12 months, it's really weird. In fact, even longer than that.
To be
fair,
fair,
the car hasn't been here for 12 months.
Yeah, it's been down in Wales for quite a long time. I reckon probably a third to half of all the interactions I have with people with like off the back of the Rover, like people who see it at petrol stations or whatever. Probably nearly half of them. Oh, wrong button. I accidentally made something horizontal. It should have been vertical. Nearly half of them are. Oh, my dad used to have one of them. I'm like, that's not a complaint. Genuinely, I love it because, as far as I'm concerned, I only have one because my dad had one, right? So I'm not saying that's like a bad thing to be saying.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I do kind of want it on a T-shirt. Yes, I know your dad had one, or something like that.
I bet your dad had one. We should get a T-shirt then that says, "I bet your dad had one."
Or actually,
just a
my dad
silhouette.
had one too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you have it on the back. I bet your dad had one with a silhouette of the SD1, and then on the back, just the back of the plate, the back of like silhouette of the lights and everything else. Like, yes, my dad had one too. We should get those made up.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody put a note.
I need
chat
that
or
on a
something
T-shirt
to remind me. Yolanda, can you make a note?
Oh, what did I measure that at? I'm forgetting all my dimensions.
But yes,
do you
so
want the
Matt.
vernier calipers,
320.
by the way?
So sorry.
Did you want the vernier calipers?
No.
I don't know. I am nowhere near precise enough for calipers right now. They would be a waste.
Print one. Check how badly it fits. Make adjustments. But
Pretty much.
Matt's had exactly the same thing. He got caught out by the trial, and basically you download it. You go, yes, this is my account. You can go on the website and you sign up. Make sure that your account does the right thing and has the license attached to it. But then, unless you close the program down and open AutoCAD again and re-log in, it won't recognise your subscription as being anything other than the basic trial. And I spent 8 hours working on this intake, and it was perfect. It was exactly.
Did it
what
actually
needed.
work? Like, was it a proper closed solid
It was
and everything?
absolutely perfect.
Oh.
I spent 8 hours doing it and went, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Save. Oh, you can't save in the trial. Right, check my account. No, I have the trial, because I've used that before. So I don't know why it had just forgotten in an update that I didn't have the account. Recertified the account subscription as an amateur user on the website and went to save it. No, can't do that. You have to close in order to log back in. So 8 hours worth of work down the pan.
So,
yeah, and exactly as you say, you can't copy and paste it, you can't do anything. You are completely stuck. It is the worst. So Unfortunately, it then only took me about 2.5 hours to make it again, instead of going from an additive procedure and building it up in the shape.
CAD is hard, kids. There's
Yeah.
a reason we have very highly paid professionals who do this.
Starting with a block and removing it and taking it and basically working as a negative.
Are you ready to show
Negative
the world your
space.
CAD, Chris?
No, I will never be ready to show the world my CAD.
And working it
I
down
mean,
and
actually,
making
like
this.
if you pip it in the corner or something, I wouldn't mind. I just don't want to. I don't want to monopolise
Why
the
do I
screen.
pip
No,
so-
I haven't got the pip set up yet.
Oh, we not.
Well, yeah, I was playing around with it, but I
Raging.
started doing other things. Excuse me, instead. So I got this thing done, and yeah, I got it most of the way down, and for some reason, I tried to cut a face, and it goes, okay, so that's these two different shapes now. Right, I want to delete this one, and it just deletes the overlay sketch. Even when you close the sketch off, you could not do it, and I literally, after 10.5 hours in one day working on this, 8 hours wasted, 2.5 spent trying to get back to where I wanted to be, albeit making quicker progress. I literally rage quit, and I messaged Chris just like, you're going to have to finish this because I'm done with this program
I've
way off.
absolutely had it. Yeah.
I was just like, nope, I'm done, and I just yeah.
So in
What I
terms
should have
of
done
Abe's
is
comment
had
about
a
watching
had a wobble
SC1's
pop.
Rallying. Yes, I was waiting for you to like take a breath.
That's at
Because
the
I wanted
end
to.
of my AutoCAD and 3D modelling rant.
It wasn't AutoCAD. It's Autodesk.
Autodesk
Yeah.
even. What I would have loved is to still be able to use Google SketchUp, because I was an absolute demon with that, and then they put it all online instead of being a downloadable program, and then
So you know
Google
he said that's the
stopped
end of his
doing
rant.
it.
I know.
Right.
So yeah, I was trying to wait for you to take a breath, but apparently
No.
you've just got like a fucking
No.
scuba tank in there or
No.
something.
I can
Yeah,
rant like a
Aid is
champ.
actually being the best kind of odd one out right now, because everyone else knows the SD1 either from their dad having one or from British Touring Car Championship.
Aid watched a
Aid
rally.
knows Aid knows them from rallying,
Yes.
which is was that the blue computer vision? No, am I thinking of it? Was it computer vision? Because I know that
Blue
was on the
one was.
6R4, but I don't know, was there a computer vision SD1?
I thought the computer vision was white. Under the Liquid Moly scheme was always
I thought
white.
Liquid
but I
Moly was
don't
one of the
think-
BTCC ones.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at racing car history, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So, Chris is currently working out many maths.
Yeah, so before I embarrass myself by showing the world the model...
That seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like, that's this way around.
Mathematically legit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Are you actually going to swap it over now? I'm just trying to figure out, like, exactly how we want to take these...
So that's what Chris has currently.
Yeah.
And
Is
that's
it
just
what I'd like to do is have this translucent and just sort of overlay it on the thing.
yes.
So, like, the center section here is, like, the motor hub fits inside that inner ring. These three smaller holes are the bolt holes. And then these sections on the ends that obviously I haven't finished closing off yet are
Yes.
going to be
So these three.
the top and bottom of the radiator where it fits onto our big channel.
These are the three
Brackets.
pinholes that bolt through, that we've got bolted on this one but not on this one yet, that Chris has marked out.
Yeah.
So we're basically going to work out how to go from those three mounts to a second one in a mirror image,
Yeah.
and then see whether or not those parameters fit onto the actual radiator
Yeah.
and where
So-
they align. Because we can also go.
I'm just running out though. I just don't quite have enough. Oh, do I have enough cable? Yes, I
I was
do.
going to say the BNC is clipped in. The HDMI might fall out.
Just trying to get the zoom right. So it goes that way. Oh, you know what? It's not actually really very visible at all.
No.
It goes like that way,
Yeah.
kind of from there on there.
So we can try and put these two together in a single piece, and then from that plane we can
Well,
also
actually,
map
no, those
their-
two together in one piece doesn't work because the total system length is 40 centimeters. If I printed it upright, I could get that.
No,
I've
it's
got
fine.
40 centimeter print height. But
Well, no, because I'm going to make this bracket in steel,
oh right, yeah.
weld these two together for strength,
Yeah.
and then have this attaching out
Oh,
this way.
I've got you.
So
Yeah,
these, you'll notice that these, well, you will if, I mean, Chris can see, but everyone at home, put it back on the radio.
Oh, did you want it? Okay.
So you can see if I move that off, that with this in the middle, these two pieces quite conveniently line up towards these holes at the top and bottom. So my hope is to very, very structurally and nicely mount those two together.
So that's just to hold the fans apart from each other to stop them from.
So that will hold them apart
wobbly.
to stop them wobbling that way, and it will bolt them onto the radiator mount so that they're held the right distance off, and they will be strong. And then there's no worry about the PLA or whatever else we print it out of flexing and there being interference.
Matt Warwick is asking the real questions.
Yes.
He's wondering what distro I'm on. So, like, there's a certain class of nerd who would take a good guess at what distro I'm on just from the status bar I have at the bottom of my screen.
Yeah.
That's i3 bar, which is part of the i3 window manager, which is usually a pretty good sign that someone's like, I use Arch, by the way. And if you guessed that, you'd be right. I am an Arch user. What else?
Your own arch enemy. These are the puns you come here for. I see that deafening silence from everyone.
Well, I was
in the
reading
room.
chat, so it just totally flew me by. I missed it completely, thankfully.
Aid, yes, it was
We've been over this.
Unipart.
Other Aid. Sorry, because Aid Bourne just said he would recommend not printing in PLA, which we did actually touch on earlier. We're going to use ABS for
Yes.
it.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yes, fan shroud. Well, not really fan shroud, fan mount.
Yeah, so this is going to be...
Although actually we will need a shroud as well to duct.
Yeah, so
to
that's
stop
what...
that
So
from-
we can print the shroud... Basically, we're going to build the mount itself to hold everything off the rad so it doesn't crash in steel, because nice and easy and weldable. And we're not going to worry about shattering the plastic when we bolt it on, but the shroud itself will be printed.
I think it's quite funny because
probably the
I feel
best
like
way.
most places, right, when you have CAD and a 3D printer available like we do, most places would normally not go with plastic, difficult, tricky, steel, easy, convenient.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're about the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and big rants about 3D modelling.
Yeah. I've just realised this piece of the Thunderbird is really convenient. Maybe nearly convenient. Yeah, that works. That's perfect.
What, just to...
Do you know what's worse though?
What? Have you detected a wobble?
It's got a bit of a bend in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Fix it though.
The real question is when are the sodium-filled valves going to be deleted, rods upgraded, crank pin, 100cc injectors, G25 turbo, inline 44 pump, and a decent standalone going in.
Well,
we have a
44 pumps, yes, yeah. So yeah.
I was thinking 100cc injectors did seem small.
Yeah, so at some point, yes, way back, Matt was asking the sensible question of how much power.
I've got a drinking problem.
Initially, we're gonna go with stock power with a light tune and basically get used to the car, work out if we've made a complete hash of the handling, and make sure it's not gonna kill us.
Not work out
badly.
if we've made a complete hash of the
How
handling.
much
work
of a
out
hash
that
we've made.
we
Yes,
have made
yeah.
a complete hash of the handling.
Try and fix a bunch of things, get used to the car, and then probably go.
Sorry, I'll be back in 1 sec.
Are you gonna tee?
I'm not going to tee.
Ooh, you should probably tee though.
I feel like teeing.
Yeah, so we'll go with more power and basically wind it up in steps and stages and see what we can get away with. Bigger turbo would be good fun. Something not too horribly, massively boosty to go for like big numbers, but have something that actually still drives quite nicely and match it reasonably well to the flow. And classic Britain. What about a 2JZ in one? We would have to change a lot of the everything.
So
A 2JZ would be fun, but I would probably put a 2JZ in something else.
2J in the Rover.
Yeah, 2J Rover.
No, if the Rover's getting a turbo engine, it's either going to be the original.
So Chris
or the
also
K
has.
series. Decent standalone
Yeah,
with some tails.
yeah.
So yeah, that is actually that one. To be fair, I'm hoping to put in the SD1. I want that to run the turbo engine.
Yeah, so that will be going in for yours, basically.
Yeah, but
it would be quite interesting because we're planning on using the original one for convenience factor for a good deal. That's a good point.
But to be fair, like this one is wired up for all of the ridiculous stuff.
There you go. Now you can show it because I forgot to change the angle.
So this one is wired up for all the ridiculous goodies that I don't want in the Rover.
Yeah.
So this has 2 nitrous triggers. It's wired for dual like stepped injectors.
Yeah.
It's got water injection. It's got launch control.
Yeah. It's got a lot of stuff.
It's got gear sensors in it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff
gear
that
sensor.
you don't need on yours, and
Yes.
we definitely don't have on the kit car.
Well, it's stuff that we could, like, it's stuff that would make more sense on the kit car. Like, there's no way I'm putting a 2-stage nitrous system on the SD1. Not this SD1.
Yeah, I'm also not putting a 2-stage nitrous system on that thing, because damn.
And yes, that is the Mega Squirt. That is a Mega Squirt 3 Extra, wired for fully sequential fuel and spark on 4 from Extra EFI. I got it years and years ago when I got a
Golf.
I got it with a backdated pay rise in 2015, and I intended to put it on my Mark 1 Golf, which at the time I wanted to swap to ITBs.
You're not wrong. There are 2
on a 16 valve.
DD37s on there.
Yes, 1 male, 1 female, which usually is a giveaway for it being a 3X, as far as I know. I've tried to be quite careful with the wires because these little yellow tags on them, the adhesive's all 5 years old, so they're falling off the ends of the cables.
Ruh-roh.
There's now 2 wires on that, but I don't know what they are, so I'm going to have to contact Extra EFI at some point and go, hello, please give me a pin out.
Yes, I did it done.
Yeah. Hey,
So
that
yes.
ECU I bought like half a decade ago. Can you help me out?
Yes, Matthew. That is in fact the Mega Squirt. But yes, so it should be good fun. I mean, we can always put nitrous on the Thunderbird.
It would take it.
Oh yeah.
What do you reckon? 250 shot?
When I was looking, well, when I got the Thunderbird, I started poking around, and there's actually a build on Motor Trend. It's $5,000 total in, and you get a 460 something stroker engine with higher flow heads, but it is good for 500 horsepower at that point and 500 pounds-feet. And it's basically like, how much does it cost to throw 500 horsepower and 500 pounds-feet out of this engine in a very drivable way? And yeah, that would be cool. It would lay patch then. At the moment, it will lay, well, not so much patch. The wheels are about this wide. It would definitely lay something, but
I don't think it's even. I think the factory diff is fully open as well, so it'd leave a patch.
Yeah, a patch.
One really thin patch.
Yeah, no 11s, just one.
But it gets worse because it's a 3-speed. First gear is going to be so tall.
Yeah, you'll probably never get out second. It's laying patch, not a chance.
Because I don't think it'll have the same problem the Rover has, which is not having enough power to even light up one tyre. This is embarrassing. The Rover has an open rear diff, but because first gear is a 60-mile-an-hour gear, if I'm a bit brave with the revs, it just hasn't got enough torque at the wheels to spin.
Yeah.
To spin the tyres.
Yeah,
and that's deeply depressing.
Yeah. It just about manages it if it's very, very wet. You can get a little slip, and then the other one kind of figures its life out, and it rolls quite happily. But yeah.
I'm actually glad. So Matt's just said that a buddy of his used to run Speedwino in a mate's car, and it lost sync above 4,000 RPM on boost.
Yeah.
And I've actually been toying with the idea of Speedwino because recently I've been doing a fair bit of Arduino work for an unrelated project. Well, vaguely related. I'm hoping to eventually use it in the SD1. So
TBC.
A buddy of mine back in Pembrokeshire, a guy called Dylan Strawbridge.
Why are you not watching, Dylan?
He's probably on the rigs.
He's probably on the rigs.
Wherever. I can't actually remember where he works, but wherever it is, he's away for like months at a time. Anyway, he's got a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, the 8-speed that goes into loads of BMWs and all sorts of other cars, and we're building a controller for it.
Gareth just said need to put ZF.
Yeah, I need to put the ZF in the Rover. Yeah, that is. I wouldn't say it's the plan, but
also,
I would like to.
As Gareth happens to be watching, your hoodie is on the way. Also, everybody else can buy things from shop.pedalbox.show.
Subtle.
You
just wait for that lower thing to come. Hey.
But yes, your things are in the post. I am reliably informed they should be there tomorrow. I mean, postal service, innit?
But yeah.
They're doing a great job.
So I have actually.
It should be on their way.
Everything
everything is on its way. Apologies for the delay. It also didn't help that when it was like 3-4 degrees and below here, our printer's boiler managed to give up. So they were stuck out of the office because it was, I think it was about 1 to 2 degree in the building.
I feel like at that point you give up. You just accept defeat. You go, this is not meant to be right now.
Basically that. They gave up for the day. They gave up for a couple of days whilst they had somebody in. And dude came in, fixed the boiler, so they're back up to speed now. So we can actually get things printed pretty rapid in all of our merch. The only thing we're still waiting on is our new Fun is Better Than Good t-shirts and the long sleeve ones, which hopefully they should be along sooner rather than later. I've been through 2 different printers through lockdown, which have promised me things. Hopefully it's coming in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, one's currently working to try and get everything back up and running, which would be really good.
Yeah.
And the other one just gave up.
Do we have channel stickers? I think we do.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Of course, we threaten to give them away to all sorts of people in the comments every episode, and we never actually do.
No, we do.
Do we?
Yeah, I follow up on all of that. Well,
Oh,
as
fair
long as
enough.
they send me their details to physically put them
Yeah.
in the post. Yes.
I'm glad one of us is organised.
Easy now. Let's not say things we can't take back.
Organised-ish.
Yeah, they're in a box just next to me, which is actually almost impossible to get to because I'm basically pinned into this table right now. So whilst Chris continues to do some CAD, I'm going to try and fight this.
Look at me being all productive.
Again,
Matthew wants a PedalBox branded blimp. I don't think our printer does blimps, mate. I could be wrong, but oh no! People can see what I'm doing. It's like, send me some then.
Oh, yes, we have stickers. So yeah, send us your address, Aid, and we'll put a couple in the post because I've got a few more I need to sort out. So yeah, drop us on Facebook or Instagram. Find the page, and we'll throw some in. Yes, thanks, Aid, because last time you did that, we got a lot more new subscribers, and it was great. And we are, and hopefully they
Priorities.
They can.
It's all about subscribers.
Aid Born White Knight. What about a PedalBox branded PedalBox? Oh, just you wait.
I honestly, I somehow wasn't sick of the PedalBox puns by the end of the episode where we put the PedalBox in.
That's
way back in what, like episode 20 something or whatever it was.
I don't know. Yolanda will be able to find it.
Yeah.
Just
No pressure.
no pressure or anything.
If you search for PedalBox, that'll definitely get it.
There is no chance that will bring that up. In the first episode, you're going to need to probably go back through to... I want to say... Okay, I'm going to take it... Right, before we bring it up, because I also don't know, in the comments, guess what episode number we put the PedalBox in. You've got as long as it takes for us to search for it, because you can search for it and cheat that way as well.
I was going to say,
First
his head is
one-
a team in chat right now.
Yes. First one and closest, we'll send a couple of stickers to. I think it's 38, but it might even have been before that. 38 even seems a little bit
I don't
late.
remember doing the subtitles for it yet, so...
So it could be in around that area.
17, 22, 24. Matthew admits he has no idea. He just went for 24.
He's just spamming numbers to win.
Oh no, like, no, he's only said one number.
Right, okay, fair enough.
I have no idea either, Matthew.
Okay.
It's alright.
We have 3 Adrians in here, Aid.
At
We
least.
have Aid, we have the spare Aid, which is White Knight, and then we have Aid from Aid's Workshop. Oh, I'm sure it's well before 46, Heather.
Oh, it's definitely before 46.
Honestly, if it's 46, I'm going to look dumb.
This is the part
like
where Heather's actually
episode-
gone and looked it up, and it was...
Well, no, episode 50 was in lockdown because you weren't here for that. That was when
The thing
we
is,
did
we
the
didn't
page.
do a lot per episode for a long time.
Yeah, so I think it might be in the early 30s, maybe.
I
30?
feel like...
No, it must have been 20s because it was before we went to Retro Rides, and Retro Rides was episode 29, 30, 31 or thereabouts. So I'm going to say like 26.
I guessed mid-20s.
Okay, yeah.
If that was like, and that was a genuine shot
Yeah.
in the dark, but
Installing the pedals.
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go. Is episode...
What have we got? What have we got? 17, 22,
Yeah, okay.
24.
So we're calling it at this point, with Heather's guess of 46 being the last one in for the competition.
It is episode 25.
25.
I said 26.
Well,
eventually.
Matthew was one off with
Yeah,
his, like,
I
I
was gonna
have
say,
no idea.
Matthew-
You bullshitter.
Matthew went like stab in the dark at 24 and actually won. So grats. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to put.
Matthew,
him
we're
in
not giving you a blimp though, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, no blimp. I'm not even going to put them in the post. I'm just going to stick them through your letterbox because it's easier.
Pedals.
Oh, hang on. Here you go.
Ah, that is pedals.
From a safe distance,
Does that
obviously.
count as- I do not know these cards.
The pedals went in after the pedal box though, didn't they? Or did they?
No, that was roughly speaking the same episode. It was
Yeah.
all kind of in one. But yeah, it was PedalBox fits a PedalBox, and we were gonna do a competition when we hit 1,000 subscribers of how many times did we say PedalBox in the PedalBox episode when we fit the PedalBox, and the winner of that would again get like stickers or a hat or something. So we could maybe do that again. Like when we when we hit 4,000 watch hours, because that's like the threshold to get YouTube to buy us the PedalBox that we accidentally had to hack up because we made errors.
Can
you take a parcel? Yes, I can in fact operate as a much more efficient postal service and come and pick up a parcel for Chris and drop off some stickers in return.
Why has he got a parcel for me?
I have no idea.
Okay. I have questions.
No, Matthew, you can't trade your luck in for the Euro Millions because I need that luck for the Euro Millions, and then we don't need anything else. We can just throw money at all of the problems and make them go away.
And wouldn't that be better, us having the money than you having the money? Yeah, apparently every video that we've shown in this stream, my hair's got shorter. It's kind of weird to me because over a year ago now.
It's weird to you. I edit montages.
No, something else is weird to me. Sorry, my brain went on a bit of an adventure. A little over a year ago, back in January, just before we went to Zip Tie Drags.
Hang on, not gonna lie, we're not doing very much fab in this episode.
We're really not. No, this is just
having
like
a lovely chat with LP, which I'm hoping you're all enjoying because you're all sticking around in chat. So we might do this.
This is the part where we look at the viewer count. It's just been slowly sliding down forever.
Yeah, sorry. White Knight's winning this week. Sorry, not. Yeah. So he's winning the Euro Millions. But Aid has to remember that friends don't let friends not drive Astons. Yeah, that was the deal many years ago.
Is that some like pact that you've made?
Yeah, me, Aid, and Greg. Friends don't let friends not drive Astons.
I unironically love it.
Gotta get those producing things out.
Yeah. Can you get a montage of Chris's hair getting longer? Probably, because there's probably a couple of things that I need to edit. So if I find them, I'll just like start dropping them into another timeline. Well, so you might have seen the new Storytime episode last week, which has a new intro that I finished making the day before, which took a long time to make because.
Did Craig ever let you drive the Aston?
No.
Why am I not surprised?
No, to be fair, since he got it, I think I've only seen him once.
He never let me drive it.
When it's been anywhere. No, before the 40th. We did a drop off of gear for something that he was doing. He used a bunch of the multiplayer gear, and he had it there. So I had a quick look, but like we were on the clock at the time for a start and had other events that we had to get to drop things. So it was what it was. However, I'm reasonably certain Pip still wants to come to the Nürburgring in it, and I'm not sure Craig's getting a choice. I know Yvonne wasn't totally thrilled about the idea, but Tom wants to come along as well.
It was also 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, that was well before that. No, Pip's been on board for a long time.
Oh, no, I know. But when it got to 2 o'clock in the morning, Yvonne was really not happy. And Pip was totally up for going to Germany.
Yeah, Pip was well up. I don't remember that conversation. In fact, I don't remember a lot from her.
Was alcohol a factor?
Alcohol was very definitely a factor.
Imagine my surprise.
As was literally just flying back from Zip Tie Drags the day before.
Hey, we got Spence from Decimal Tenths in the comments.
Hey, how do? Good to see you here. So yeah, we.
He's gonna be really disappointed when he realises.
We've just been rambling for like an hour.
Sorry, mate. We've already gone through all the talk about boosted 20 VTs, so you're just late.
Yeah. Spence can tell us all about what not to do with your beautiful £5,000 engine and a powdered.
Oh God.
A powder coated valve cover.
White Knight's just made me sad.
Yeah. Yvonne in Rowdy would have been hilarious. Yes. Oh God. If I could have gone round the ring again with Tom and Yvonne in Rowdy, I think that would have been glorious. To be fair, so one of the laps that I did as a passenger around the Nürburgring, it was undoubtedly one of the slowest laps. It wasn't the slowest, but one of the very slow laps that I did was. And again, this is another one of right. I have a reputation of just kind of talking to people, and it turns out these people are well above my station in life. But I just get on with them, and it's how we ended up chatting to Derek Bell of like 917 Porsche, 3-time Le Mans winner fame.
A little bit famous,
yeah, a little bit famous.
We had no idea at the time.
You didn't. I did. I clocked it because
Until we realised who Derek Bell
You didn't
was.
exactly go, wait, that's Derek Bell, the
No.
famous 917 Le Mans driver.
No, because I kept it together.
No,
you checked his email address. You're like, wait, you're Derek Bell. I'm like, yes, this is Derek Bell.
Neat.
Christ.
Oh, that guy thought he'd broken his Aston Martin.
Yes. So the reason that we met Derek Bell was because somebody thought Derek had broken their Aston Martin. Now, conveniently at the Nürburgring, there is a large Aston Martin dealer, works team and development building on the other side of the main straight. And so the chap who owned this baby blue DB9, which if I had a picture handy I would put it up, but I can't remember where it would be easily found, basically said, oh, I'm not sure if it's broken. Derek was absolutely in no uncertain terms confident that he had not broken anything, and he hadn't. But nevertheless, such is the sway of people when you have a guy with a McLaren, an Aston, and a few other things on a trip with Derek basically being lapped around the Nürburgring.
The idea of, sorry, just to put something out there, the idea of just hiring
Derek.
Yes. Just to go for a jolly at the Nürburgring, by the way.
That's a little bit wild, and I kind of love it.
Like if you're gonna have lots of money, do that.
Yeah. Spend it coolly, and that is sure enough
chill,
a cool way to do
Yeah.
it. They actually called Aston Martin HQ in the UK and went, we're not sure if they called the dealership that look after it. They called headquarters. Somebody from HQ then called the test facility in Nürburg and went, guys, can someone just pop over and have a look at this customer's car that's in the car park at the ring? I'm like, yeah. So they sent a couple of engineers over, had a chat with Derek, looked over the car, took it out, drove it, went, it's fine, and went on their merry way. So, fantastic. But yeah, so I have this habit of just kind of chatting to people at the Nürburgring, and sometimes they're really cool people. Like the chap that had the McLaren that I took some pictures of and went, hey, I've got pictures of your car on track. He went, brilliant, invoice me for them, I would love them. Easiest sale I've ever made. And then he got hold of Derek and went, this chap's got pictures of us on track. And Derek went, cool, invoice me for them. which was great. 2 easiest sales I've ever made. Somebody else was doing it on my behalf.
I'm just saying you've ruined like 3 episodes of story time here.
Yes, yeah. Crap. So we did all of this, and one other guy. There was a guy in a DB7, beautiful green, like British Racing green Aston Martin DB7, and it said GTA on the badge, and I had no idea why there was a Grand Theft Auto DB7. But he was waiting in the queue. He would also. This shows how long ago it was. He had a Motorola Razr, and he had his helmet on, and he just kind of tucked it up into his helmet, and then was just kind of faffing around with something. It was like, this is the greatest hands-free kit in the world. It's a racing helmet. And I said, do you mind if I ask what the GTA signifies? And it was the last, 50 or 60. Of these cars. Yes, we should see Chris's progress.
No!
It
looks like I've made unprogress.
You want number 5?
Because there's now less CAD on my CAD.
Chris
that would be entirely correct. I have in fact managed to undo some of my own work because apparently I'm an idiot.
So Chris
and
is
don't know what I'm
chunking
doing.
through.
Oh god, how did that happen?
So I'm chatting away with this guy. Like, oh, that's really cool. Like, it turns out it's the last 50 or 60 of them that they built the DB7. They put the Vanquish engine in, which is absolutely the right thing to do. BMW did something very similar with the Z3Ms when they ran out of E36 era M3 engines, and they put the E46 era M3 engines in instead. Which, great fun. So, back to Chris for CAD.
No!
CAD update.
It looks a bit TIE Fighter in a minute, doesn't it?
It does.
Actually?
Yeah. Use the forks, Chris.
Yeah, basically the thing that's screwing me is, for some reason, I can't, like, something in my brain right now, and I think it's because I'm spending far too much of my effort on talking, just can't quite work out how to go from, like, neatly and in a way that doesn't mess with the airflow too much and everything, to go from this bar up here to this ring in here, just cleanly. I don't know why, I'm just staring at it like I don't know what to do here, which feels like a really stupid problem to have.
That they'd seen someone with a 10 steel mesh or approximately.
Oh
10
yeah,
mil
just
spaces.
putting really hefty steel mesh over the whole back of it and bolting through the mesh.
Yeah, I mean, we have got, conveniently, an 8x4 sheet of like 3.5 mil.
It's pretty beefy. It would do it.
Steel, and it probably would manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be a terrible idea. It'd probably hold. Although it's only, I think it's only 0.8 mil thick, so it might have a little bit too much flex.
I don't know. Like you can pick it up fairly easily.
It's more with that much weight and torsional going through it when it spins up.
It's strong in that direction. It's strong across the sheet, which is where the torque could be going through.
But it's going to be sitting.
You might have a bit of wobble.
If it was vertical,
yeah,
it'd be perfect. At a 45-degree angle, it will sag down slightly with the motor on, which is where it might induce the wobble as it tries to kind of pick itself
I don't
up.
think it'll wobble. I do think there's room for it to kind of do that a bit, just for it to move in and out. I don't think the torque's going to bother it.
If it was dead vertical, it potentially would work.
Not to say we couldn't just brace across it.
So I got chatting to this dude, and it turns out he's the current descendant of the royal lineage. Yeah, thanks, White Knight. He's the current descendant of the King of Ireland, or he would, if Ireland still had royalty, he would be the King of Ireland. I'm like, this is weird. And yeah, sometimes I get chatting to random people about random things.
Car people are like that though.
And yeah, to be fair, if you walk up to people, and I found this with a few kind of famous people that I've bumped into across different parts of my life, if you just talk to them like normal people and don't kind of go, oh my god, you're amazing, if you, especially if they're not at an event, they're not there in an official capacity, and they just happen to be in the area, and you don't make a big deal, and you're just like, yeah, all right, hi, how you doing, blah 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 blah, and you just chat about stuff. People are really chill, which is great. Unfortunately, I now can't remember how I got onto this tangent, so if someone in chat wants to remind me, that'd be really, really good.
Story time with Aid, not wrong.
Honestly, story time with Aid is a ramble, and I need somebody taking notes.
Everything's an adventure, though. Like you never know what random oddball story's going to come out of you next.
I've done a lot of stuff, you know.
Like when we met Steve and ended up in his garage having beers.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
California.
So yes, we need to go back over and when we're
don't
back
say
over.
any more. That's a story. Well, actually, do say any more, and then you can just elaborate in a story time anyway.
There's you'll see in one of the Zip Tie Drag episodes. There's a guy with a really, really nice.
Just filling the 10 minutes for me to finish. It's going to take a lot more than 10 minutes, Maffy.
Yeah, I'm just padding for Chris's sake. I'm trying to make him look good.
Impossible.
Okay, right. So as long as all of us are lost in where I tangented from, as Aid has quite correctly pointed out. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So this dude had the Vanquish engine in the Aston, and that tangented me off onto the Z3M, which for the last 100 and something they put the E46 M3 engine in rather than the E36, so they had 340 brake against 320 something. But yeah, fun times. And yeah, I just have this reputation of just going up and talking to people and being just quite kind of blasé about it. It's great. I think
it. To some extent also, you just happen to talk to out there people.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because you hunt out the Aston Martins that say whatever DBA or whatever it was on the back of them and go, that looks interesting, I'll talk to him. Or what.
It's like there was a fellow with a bright yellow RS4, a first gen B5 RS4. And it was they're 380 horsepower stock, and they only ever made 400 of them, and this guy had modified it, and it was running somewhere in the 500 to 600 range. And he said, oh yeah, do you want to go out for a lap? I was like, yes! So I hopped in with him, which was weird, because his was left-hand drive, so I'm on my driving side, going around the ring, and I kid you not, he actually apologised for it being so slow when we only did an 8-minute 50 bridge to gantry time, and honestly, that was rapid. I've had some good laps. That was definitely up there. The TVR was easily the most scary, despite
to the surprise of nobody.
To the surprise of nobody whatsoever. Terrified going around the track. Just every now and again, you go into a corner, the car's like, I'm going to kill you. No, I'm not going to kill you. Next corner, this time? No, not this time. And you just never know. It might just be the end. But yeah, the GTA was a really good lap. That was what I was talking about. A wafty, slow lap. With the sort of current in line to the throne of Ireland. Yeah. And we did a relatively slow lap round, but it was phenomenally comfortable. it was just a really nice, gentle lap, and the guy said, "Oh, I'm afraid it's not going to be a very quick lap. I don't really know the circuit." And we just kind of wafted round the whole thing in about 12 minutes and just cruised, and it was glorious, absolutely fantastic going round in that thing. And in the end, I took a video from in his car, and then. Yes, there you go. Aid also just remembered. Like, Aid came up in chat remembering about the slow lap, but I'd already remembered myself, so I think there's some kind of, like, unbroken Wi-Fi link between Adrian's at this point. Because that was kind of spooky. But yeah, so Rowdy was very wafty and cool to go around in. The waftiest, coolest lap was definitely this guy's DB7 GTA. And I took a video from him, and because he said that he didn't really know the track, I did an edit of it with every single corner name and a top-down view of every single corner overlaid from Google Maps on top of it so that he could learn the track a little bit more if he wanted. And I think that was one of the videos that got lost in the great hard drive crash of whenever it was. When a RAID controller failed and wiped out 3/4 of a terabyte of data across 3 mirrored arrays. We're back on it. We're back on another one of Aid's rants about annoying things here.
Matthew's wondering if the car is going to end up being quite TVR-like with all that weight hanging outboard on the car behind, which is funny because TVRs historically are all front-engined,
Yes,
as far as I know.
every single one.
Mechanically, no.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's definitely going to kill us.
Practically,
So,
the back end is going to step out like a TVR because. Yeah, it has a lot of weight out the back. Yeah, fortunately we have first-hand knowledge of TVRs because our next-door neighbour Calvin, who I'm not sure if he's in the chat, but if he is, hi. Yes, Masha, old man rants to the camera. Do you know what really grind my gears? Not having synchromesh. Yeah,
it's definitely going to leak like a TVR.
Yes, yeah.
Well, hopefully water will leak into it, but fluids won't leak out of it. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to have windows, so.
Yeah.
I've threatened to have some kind of window-esque thing that can kind of be pinned on, so that if we're driving and we get caught in the rain, we don't end up also drowning in it, because that would be a miserable way to die, is drowning in a car that should kill you with a tree. But there's been some good fun laps. 4 up. I'll probably end up doing a video of like my top 10 laps around the Nürburgring, like passenger laps, because the M3 CSL 4 up was horrendous but also great fun at the same time. But I was holding a camera like this across into the centre of the car, and we went through foxhole compression and just smacked the camera off the floor because it just went nope and went down. So that was a good one. RS4 was entertaining. The GTA was suitably wafty. The 996 Porsche that happened to be owned by one of the restaurants that we frequent a lot out there, that was good fun. He went so fast, I say so fast, he did an 8-minute 20 lap and then refused to go any faster because I wasn't wearing a fireproof suit, and he was probably mid-60s, and then we went back to the pits after 3 laps, gave the keys to his wife, and she went and just schooled people all afternoon, just lapping people like they were standing still. And she was in her 60s as well. Like, I aspire to be those people.
Both of them.
Live next to the ring, have a Porsche, completely caged, stripped, fire suits, and just go and whip people on track all day long, because goddamn, that's amazing.
We have a question as to how big the wheel arches are going to be.
What, like how much clear or?
So the wheels that are going in are 18s. The tyres that are on them are fairly low profile, so and the arches themselves are, at the moment, are completely flat plane to the side, so it's not going to bow out.
It's a bit Group C at the minute.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a bit LMP1. In its kind of slab-sided nature with the lights.
I don't want to compare it to LMP because they're all like aero and curvy, but like Group C
and
is.
whereas we're not.
So there's that. But there's also like Group C is the whole car is like slab-sided, which
Yes.
is kind of what we
Yeah,
have, and they have the big ducts into the side,
Yeah.
like we're gonna have.
The,
and that
the
sort of
rear
thing,
the
so.
rear wings the rear wheels might actually have a little bit of flare on now. It's going to be steel bodied rather than fiberglass, just because it's going to be easier to put those kind of subtle curves in without going to a mold and getting them similar on both sides, because you can build. We've got the skeleton and we can take measurements and hopefully not get them wrong. Spoiler alert, we've got a few of them wrong already. They need fixing. But yeah, we can get it so that it has a little bit more of a kind of bulge on the back where the rear wheel arches are, but nothing too massive. I did actually see the recent designs for the McLaren T50.
No, the Gordon Murray T50.
Sorry, the Gordon Murray T50, not a McLaren, the Gordon Murray T50, and the back of that with the massive diffuser in the centre. Yolanda, if you just Google Gordon Murray T.50 and bring a picture up of that, because
I love the philosophy that he's taken into that project as well. I absolutely love everything about his approach to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to take credit for this, right? Because obviously this would be absurd.
Yeah.
But he shares most of how I think about supercars. Which I really feel like is more validating how I feel than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say I'm a genius. That's
Yes,
obviously
no,
bollocks,
but I'm
considering I'm taking part in this.
I'm
but
totally willing to be influenced by
I'm
geniuses.
glad I agree with Gordon Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that we are disagreeing with Colin Chapman and his design of a Caterham 7 and thinking that ours could be better is neither here nor there.
I don't think we think it could be better. I think we think it
couldn't be. It can't be. We can't be any. No. We won't be better. Hopefully we might not be worse. If we can be anywhere near close to possibly good, that'd be great. But yeah, so that's the T50 on the right of that picture, the orange one. Is absolutely glorious, and there are some fabulous pictures, which I'm not sure if. Let me just if I switch that back. Yeah, if you try and find a rear shot of it, there was some press shots that came out recently, because that just has massive diffuser each side of the exhaust, which is similar-ish to what we have, but there's nothing hiding the back of the wheels, so there might be a small change coming to how I do the wheels, as long as it works within the IVA spec. Which it should do, because Gordon's has got to pass something very equivalent to that. So yeah, where the arch comes round at the back, it mostly depends on how much water we're going to kick out the back of the car, and how much rooster tailing is going to happen all of the time. I mean, less bodywork means less bodywork to wash and clean.
No, I'm actually. So Matthew's been asking for a CAD update.
There is
and
the
actually,
CAD update.
I'm fairly happy with the CAD update right now.
CAD
because
update
this
is currently more TIE Fighter than before.
I am kind of confused though, because FreeCAD is telling me here I've got 2 degrees of freedom, which means 2 parts of this whole thing can move, but I can't, like, the bits that it's highlighting and telling me can move, I can't make them move. So
yeah, Aid's right. Yeah, Harry's Garage just did a review with Gordon. They did a big press junket, and lots of YouTubers did videos on it. And yeah, Harry's was a great one. Harry's Garage is another really good video. He is the editor and founder of Evo magazine, and he has a lovely big barn come warehouse for all of his cars to go in. He has lots of different things like the Jaguar. Project 8, and he's got a Testarossa, and Project 7, sorry, and a bunch of other things. But he does it really well. He goes through at the end of every year. He does a breakdown of how much all of his cars have cost him in like maintenance and insurance and all sorts of stuff. So it's a really good overview on kind of the downsides of owning really nice cars. Like, oh, that's lovely. Also, it's going to cost you 10 grand a year to keep this Countach on the road.
I thought you were about to say the downsides of owning classic cars, and I'm like, I have recently become intimately familiar with that. But no, then you said nice cars. I'm like, I've got no idea.
It's things like the Countach and the Testarossa when it's every 3 years you need to drop the whole engine out of the Testarossa and do a full service for belts and everything in the world. You're like, wow, that sucks. How many miles do you need? No, 3 years. That's all that they're done for. If you've also not seen the Rattarossa, guy rebuilt a Testarossa in his garage. He's got a 512 Bertolina Boxer at the moment, and he took the engine out. It's got a few problems, and he took the cam covers off the back that sort of cover up the belts between all of the camshafts, and he points out and goes, "Oh yeah, so these cam covers look really, really bad, but it's wrong camera. my bad. These look really bad where they're all rusted up, and that's just normal. They just rust. Doesn't matter how much you maintain the car, they just rust. Like, wow, that's horrendous. And changing them and doing anything with them is a drop the whole engine onto the floor and basically kind of start over. Yeah, basically, as Aid said, oh, you drove it. Oh, that's a 5-digit maintenance
that
bill
was
for
silly.
driving
What did
it.
you do that for?
Yeah, there's another great one on the Vin Wiki. This is just turning into an advert for other bigger channels than us, so hopefully they, give us some back. A guy who drifts a Ferrari 599 GTB, and he did a calculation across a full season, because obviously drifting is a fairly short course, how much it costs per mile to drive that, not per lap, not per season, per mile driving that car.
Quite a lot, it turns out.
Yeah, it's about $300 a mile, and the best thing that he said was some days you drive it and it doesn't break, and you think, yes, I got away with it, but she knows, and she'll break next time. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. She knows. You don't get away with it. You just delay the inevitable a little bit more.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
Aid is bigger, and Aid does give us shout-outs in the past, and it has all been good, and we thank him profusely for it.
I feel bad because I've been actually terrible at keeping up to date with this channel lately.
Yeah, I missed the last
The problem is
couple.
that you make too many videos.
Yeah, I missed.
You've got the opposite problem to what we
Yeah,
have.
I've missed the last couple. I kind of put them on when I've been editing video and going through, because I've been going through getting all the story time stuff done. Oh, that was the other one that I was getting onto, the story time intro.
Good work, Aid.
Luke, use your targeting computer. Stay on target. No.
Oh no, I'm in over-constrained, conflicting constraints hell on the
hang
CAD right
let's,
now.
Let's check in with CAD Cam.
FreeCAD helpfully telling me, sketch contains conflicting constraints. Please remove at least one of the following constraints. Constraint number 2, 19, 20, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 30, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 50, 51, 52, 56, or 57. I'm like, I'm just going to go kill myself.
So CAD Cam currently making Chris sad. Making that video I thought was going to be really quick, because it's just a bunch of little pips, and I would have them moving and it would look really great. I thought I'll just do a test render to make sure it all looks okay. And it turns out there's 170 gig of video on screen simultaneously. Half of it is 4K, and it's scaling, which is really hard work. So rendering an 8-second CAD cam equals sad cam. Yes, Aid. Turns out rendering an 8-second piece of video containing 20 different pieces, containing 20 different scenes, half of which are 4K and half of them aren't, takes about 45 minutes, which I was surprised. So maybe later on I'll do the moving scrolling bars, but that means adding in probably another 20 pieces of video off screen to scroll in, so yeah, that'll take some time. But I'm also going to rebuild all of the intros so that each intro to things like PedalBox Fleet has the SD1. If it's an episode based on the SD1, it'll have some other like historical SD1 video in it, same for the Thunderbird, which would be nice when we get it driving, and the Golf if we ever get it driving.
We've had it driving.
The only piece that has us driving in is us going, hooray, we're on the way to the MOT. What's that buzzer? No. Oh.
The immortal words of don't be oil
Don't
pressure.
be oil. But it was oil pressure.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we'll get that on track this year.
And saying you need a more skookum PC to chooch the video faster.
Yes,
It's actually funny,
I
this
need
laptop that I'm working on at the minute would probably be about 2 to 2.5 times faster.
No.
Have you upgraded your CPU?
Bigger graphics card though. The CPU isn't even maxing out on that.
Oh, okay. What GPU have you got?
2070.
Oh yeah, you.
I upgraded from the 970 eventually.
Yes, no, your GPU would win because I've got a 1660, which would have beat your 970.
Yeah.
By a decent margin, but
so
no, the 2070.
The way the videos. Welcome to video editing with Aid on PedalBox. The way that works when you're scaling video, a lot of the scaling is processed by the GPU, whereas a lot of the final render is put together by the CPU. So if you're doing kind of flat video and you're not scaling it around and you render it and you look at the CPU load and the GPU load, the GPU load will always be very low and it won't max out. But as soon as you do scaling and overlays and things like that, the GPU will go up. And if you're scaling lots, the GPU will cry and the CPU will have to try and keep up.
Well, this is where you want a nice big Quadro with 24 gig of memory or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And not, well, I mean, a basic Quadro card that's in the kind of ballpark of a 2000 series, I think starts at $5,000 minimum.
Yeah, it's just sad numbers to think about. Like you just don't want to imagine.
And it doesn't play games at all. So if I wanted to play games, I would have to have we're given aid flashbacks now.
I'd have to have other aid, like Aids Workshop aid.
I'd have to have the 2070 for that, but you can't run Quadro drivers and GeForce drivers on the same system. They just refuse to work together with the other one installed.
Thanks, NVIDIA.
Yeah, great, brill. I mean, I get it, but I'm not happy about it. There should definitely be a workaround for that. But
NVIDIA has a habit of like deliberately locking out multiple drivers from working. There was a whole episode a while ago where
NVIDIA down the lens. Yeah.
There was a whole episode a while ago where they wouldn't run PhysX if there was an AMD card in the system.
Yeah. Yeah. But no,
I'm a big NVIDIA fan.
I am an NVIDIA fan.
I'll tell you what, honestly, the biggest thing I hate about NVIDIA right now is Linux drivers.
Yes, yeah. Who's going to be the first to pilot the kit, Carl Maffey says? Probably me, because it's my fault, because I've designed all of the things that could probably end in failure.
I long ago
Chris
admitted
has welded it and put it together, but for the most part, kind of me going, you need to weld this bit better than I can weld. And
I admitted long ago, by the way, that Adrian is a better driver than I am, to the tune of about, 2 seconds on a minute, give or take? At Landau, which is not a hard track to learn.
Yeah, Landau's a fairly simple one.
Like, 2 seconds on a minute is a big difference.
Yeah, you were within 2 or 3
skill.
seconds of me on that. But then, you'd never driven the car before. And I had driven the A3 on the Nürburgring, so I was used to the car. Although we were both learning the track, I knew what the brakes would do, I knew what the car would do. I knew where my ratios needed to be for gear shifting once I got used to it. So, yeah, that would be good.
Oh, has Aid got
Aid's
got a big collaboration coming up?
All right, I definitely need to get in the stickers then to casually sit in the background somewhere.
Shill harder, Aid. Shill harder.
Like shop.pedalbox.show.
We do need to start a sticker wall in here somewhere.
Yeah, to be fair, Chris's beanie was sat really nicely.
And then it was on my head.
And then it went on my head.
Mostly because I have a horrible greasy mop at the minute.
This is the problem we have right now. All of the stickers from places we've been. So we've got like the Mad Scientist Garage sticker, which I have got a few more of. I could put one up in here. Roadkill one, Hoonigan one from when we went to the Hoonigan Garage. All of the collaboration, like the guy from... what was this thing called? John, the guy that I bought all the bits from the T-Bird, for the T-Bird from John in Ontario, California, that is, near LA.
Right, I was going to say, that was a curveball.
It turns out we were 20 minutes from where I looked at buying a huge pile of stuff, so I bought it all and went, don't ship it to me, I'll come and pick it up. He went, oh cool, where are you coming from? England. And he just kind of laughed. I said Reading at first, actually, and he thought I meant Pennsylvania. He went, no, it'll be fine. No, different spelling.
There is a Reading in California.
There is a Reading there, yeah.
Americans are really bad at, like, original place names, I've learned.
I mean, to be fair, the Americans aren't. The British, when we all went to these places.
Alright, no, I'll get that one.
Yes, New England, New York, New Jersey.
New South Wales. Wait,
New South Wales, yeah, that was us as well, yeah.
Can't blame the Americans for that one.
Not far from Niagara Falls.
Yeah, all of these things.
I don't want to speak too soon, but I think the CAD is done. There's one degree of freedom that I still need to work out.
I think that's reasonable.
And it is almost right.
Which is basically the only thing I've got left to solve is how thick are these supports here.
Yeah. Well, they don't need to be. So the
I feel like, bearing in mind, I can make them as deep. Like I can make them an inch thick of material, like out of this plane. I can just extrude it thicker.
Yeah.
But it is going like the two straight sides.
Yeah, remember this wants to be relatively thin because anything you make wide on here is just impeding airflow through. So ideally,
oh no, that's the thing. I mean, I can make it wide. That if you want to put us back on the top, I can. because
Yeah,
what I can do,
you
like,
can make it thick.
yeah, is how thick do I make it that way? Acknowledging that I can make it thick that way.
So depending on how you were going to do it, I wouldn't make it any thicker or thinner than that. So if those, if the,
so you've got this outer ring here, and then there's like 4
There's-
arcs that come off of it.
come in. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, if I print it this side first and I print it that way, I can also put a nice taper on.
Remember, it needs
no,
to
I
go,
can't actually because it goes flat onto those.
We need to print it so that it comes around.
Oh no! So this was going to be a flat piece that goes here, and it was going to bolt into some channel that we put that way. That's what I was thinking.
Right. Okay. So yeah.
So we put some channel here, right,
Uh-huh.
and then this piece comes from the motor, comes out under the channel, and you sandwich it. You bolt it there.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not entirely a massive fan of it now being 4 pieces, one for this motor, one for that motor, and the 2 bits of channel.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to make like the 3D enclosure.
Well, we can
and
print it
everything
for
for
next week, and then next week's one we can do a test on this.
Yeah, I've only got a couple
see.
100 grams of filament left at the minute, but I think that should do one of them.
I mean, even if we do it thin and it's a bit flexy, there's no point.
Well, I'll
wasting
print it
lots.
like razor thin just to check the shape and everything.
We'll check the geometry and then get that in for.
I could actually get that printing now. The printer's set up and calibrated.
Do it over the week. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with this. So hopefully by next week we'll have one of these printed out as a test, and we can kind of go over and see where that's going to fit in. And we'll chat more miscellanea then as well, because
more miscellanea, is that even possible?
Even more oh, you wait. So yeah, it should be a good laugh. We can get a bunch more stuff in. Wow, my phone! I picked my phone up and suddenly it gave me all of the notifications. Thanks for giving them to me an hour ago when they all came in. No, 5 hours ago. Yeah, great. Well done. It's time to sponsor Chris for some filaments, Gareth.
Well, mate, we've got the Patreon money. It would be being turned
you
into
can
car
also
parts,
you can go to Patreon. Patreon.
Have we got a thing for this already?
1 second.
Patience,
you two can go to
I figured out how thick to make the arcs that hold it all together.
Patreon.com/PedalBox show, and you can sponsor us directly and buy us filament.
You have no idea how many takes it takes at the end of every episode to get through, and you can support us more directly at patreon.com/PedalBox show. It's just tricky for me to say.
Yeah, I don't know why Chris struggles with it so much, but it's better than that because I've now edited it in such a way, and you'll notice every time you see an episode from this point on that it's edited so that the picture that comes up. We don't need to show you a picture of the shop or a picture of the Patreon page. You know what they look like. However, they're very important editing tools to hide the point where we have to cut between takes. That's why that happens.
Why don't you know off the top of your
Yeah. Dave's got my back here.
This is almost as good as when I put arty flakes up.
Yes. Yeah, so we also did a live stream for a cosplay event in Reading University, and one of the cosplayers there, who is a judge, is Arty Fakes, as in Arty Fakes. Arty Fakes, perfectly fine. And Yolanda had never seen this post because I've seen them at Insomnia when I used to do the events there and worked with them and all well and good. And Yolanda had never seen this and managed to accidentally type Arty Flakes, like some sort of cereal brand. Everyone laughed. So that's kind of the well-known strap bar fluff. But yeah, we rock. Hopefully we'll be doing another one of those in 2022. We were supposed to be doing one in 2020. Guess why that didn't happen. And we were going to be doing one this year, but normally it's around Easter, so guess why that one didn't happen. But yeah, if you do like that, it's mostly focused on prop making and photography and kind of building things. It's very much a maker event rather than just a strictly cosplay event. It is a good laugh. But yeah, check out Cos Expo if you're into that. And they should be doing one still in 2020, all being well.
2020 was like
In when?
2022. Yes, that's what. That was a perfect plug. Maybe not. But
Also, to answer Dave's question, I provide rice pudding instead.
Yeah, to be fair,
CAD's done.
Yeah, Yolanda.
I'm happy with it.
CAD is ready. Let's go to CAD cam.
It is no longer sad cam. I'm a happy egg.
This is happy cam.
So this like outer radius here. So this is like the hollow where it will come through above and below the fan. So, and this is obviously horizontally across the rad.
So that outer curve on the
this curve here is matching this.
Is matching that round there. Okay, fair enough.
This is like the edge of the fan basically would be right under that.
Yeah. It'll probably want to be.
I can push it out a little more.
It probably wants to be in because of the thickness between the two fans.
Oh yeah,
and remember, you're coming down well over the edges there, which is going to impede around the exit hose on one side.
If I just drag, just as a little marker, if I drag that, so that little arrowhead is at the radius of the fan. So this is actually a tad narrower. This is actually a little bit narrower than the fan is.
Okay.
Because it's 250 mil.
Yeah.
Like across that way.
Yeah. So that's kind of from there to 250 mil.
We're 250 that way.
That way.
Yeah.
So it's not quite going to. It won't come quite. Oh yeah. So
well, no. This is only meant to be the frame here.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yes, Yolanda has made rice pudding from scratch, so we're definitely not waiting for that when we get off feed. And I may also have. I'm sure I had a wobble pop around somewhere. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah, over the summer, for shiggles, we could do like a miscellaneous PedalBox cooks wild things that we've made before and gone, ooh, this is good. We could do like some barbecue stuff and things that you can cook whilst also wrenching, because wrenchable eating food is key. You know, Cornish pasties, you've got a handle on so you can hold it and then you can eat it and not just eat all of the grime off your engine, which is what I did when we built the Golf. I think I ate enough toxins that I'm probably safe from a lot of things.
I'm doing something really brave.
I'm going to actually send it and print
I'm actually going to send it to the printer.
Oh, live.
Well, what we need now is printer cam.
Things that you can make and cook on or in the car, yeah.
Steak isn't one of them.
Yeah,
I've seen someone try steak on the exhaust manifold. Doesn't work.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't work as well as you might think. If you can make something, you can warm things really easily. So you can put something in tin foil and then bury it in and around and make it work.
That's
I'm going to swap over.
That's pushing the printer a little bit.
So this is bed cam in the printer, and that is close.
Yeah, I've never actually used that much of the print bed.
Yeah, that's very close. So we'll definitely get one of these working for next week.
It's going to take 2 hours to print. They're like a quarter of a mil thick, just because it's so much surface area. To be fair, that's also printing at super high res, low speed, like eighth of a mil layers. So
yeah, I'm
just going to bung it on draft quality and like.
Yeah, as I'd say, it's live streamed PBBPQ. Yeah. Yeah, bacon on the block. I'm not so convinced about bacon on the block. That seems like a terrible, terrible idea. Now, what you don't know, which again, we'll have to take a picture of this or a little bit of video of this printing that we can put up next time. We have in our house we have a downstairs bathroom, for want of a better word, and it was turned into a bathroom for the sake of the rental, and it has a downstairs loo in it, and there's a downstairs shower. But it's all the way through the house. All of our bedrooms are upstairs, so you don't want to walk all the way down through the kitchen, round into the shower. It's almost the furthest point away from any given bedroom in the house. So we don't use it. We've almost never used it.
Bedrooms, like back when they had a 6-bed.
Yeah. So this is fine, but because we don't use it, we've set up the 3D printer in the shower cubicle, so it's behind a glass door, which keeps the noise down. It has an extractor fan, so it keeps the heat down. It actually works alarmingly well, all things considered.
The thing is, I leave the extractor fan off because you actually want the print area to be quite warm.
Relatively warm.
You want it to be like the closer it is to print temperature, the better.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it still works because
Yeah.
at that point it
Because
holds
it's
the
in a
air
shower
in.
enclosure, right? It keeps
Yeah.
the...
So it works quite nicely either way, no matter what you want to do. Which is good. Actually, yeah, to be fair, so we did some work on the GTO, as Aid says, and the GTO does get insanely hot, but not only does it get insanely hot, it also holds onto the heat like no other car I have ever seen. When he came up here to do the Thunderbird bonnet in, I want to say, episode 33, that was... Let's guess when we did that.
Yeah, Yola's like right about
Yeah.
there. About, I don't know,
Yeah.
6 feet away, socially distanced.
Yeah, there's a hand.
Yeah, there's...
Yeah. So when he came to do that, car was parked out front, and we painted all the stuff, and I think it had been about 2 or 3 hours, and the engine was still so hot. It's hot enough you couldn't put your hand on the manifold. Anyway, it was so warm. It was absolutely insane. I don't understand why. I mean, it's well packed in. Don't get me wrong. That is a well packed engine bay, and but it's not like it's sealed. I don't understand how it holds so much heat. It's ridiculous. Yeah, especially leveling the bed. Being able to put it in a room and never touch it again is glorious.
Yeah.
To be able to just be like, no.
It also helps, to
put
be
it
fair,
away.
it's got a BL touch on it, and I've got my slicer set up. Well, sorry, not the slicer. I've got Octoprint on the Raspberry Pi that's powering it set, so that before every print, it runs a full bed leveling process and and a level compensation. So if I like
does a touch off.
it does 16. It does 16 touches all across the bed and like figures out a mesh for it.
Yeah.
So then, like because in theory I shouldn't, but if I tweak the bed taking the last print off.
Yes.
It will then
you will
recompensate
then
for
just
it.
this is fine,
Yeah.
and just sort itself out again, which is very very convenient.
For
Ooh.
anyone else in the stream care to take it?
Oh no.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh, I've got to connect to a wireless network on Linux.
right. I'll put my hotspot up. That doesn't help you in the
Nope,
slightest.
because it's
I have got the password, a picture of it on my phone now.
I'm sure I've connected to the network here before, so hopefully it'll run. Oh no, it does want the passphrase. Ugh.
Yeah, I took a picture recently of it. There you go.
Oh, beautiful. That's very convenient.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. When did we do it? We did it. God. 35. I'm going to say 35. It's probably... Actually, no, it must be in the 40s. No, it must be like 42, 40... No, I'm going to say 43.
Wrong way round. White Knight got it right.
34. Well, I mean, he should get it right because he was in it. He was very much in the episode. I would expect him somewhat to get that right.
Oh no, Raging! I haven't actually got Octoprint set up on this machine.
She can't quite do it.
Oh, you know what? No, I bet I can. I can save the G code and I'll just go
Yeah.
on Octoprint via the web panel
Oh,
and
and
do
just
it
dump
that
it
way.
in that way.
Yeah, because what I normally have on my PC upstairs,
Yeah.
I've got like my slicer talks to the print server. It talks to the
Right.
Pi directly.
Yeah.
So I don't have to like export the thing, log into the panel, upload it, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, or walk around like it with an SD card like a caveman.
Yes, yes, Aid. Hashtag winning indeed. Oh. Yeah, so, we'll get that printed, and we'll look at that next week with all of this stuff back, and we'll take all of the Thunderbird things back out. By then, these bits we won't be able to reuse, because hopefully all of this heavyweight iron will be mounted back on the car. So that much will be back in, because that is the next episode of Fleet is putting the Thunderbird back together somewhat and finishing up a bunch of paint bits and doing some reassembly and potentially doing a bit of paint work on the body itself, getting it back and primed and ready to go, but I'm not sure how long that's going to take. That might turn into the next episode after that, which I guess will be 71, probably 73 will be the SD1 again, or actually no, 73 will probably be the Golf, taking the engine out and apart and doing all of that. So yeah, like 75 maybe will be the Thunderbird getting some primer and the wings back together and somewhat reconstructed. But yeah, there is a lot of work still to come on that front, which is nice. Once again, Chris has disappeared off, which means I can probably sign off again just like last time before he gets back. Maybe. So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining us. You can subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hopefully you have already subscribed and that's how you found out about us. If not...
That was the wrong one.
Wibble wobble, we haven't fully decided. This test print is definitely going to be printed on PLA because that's what's in the printer at the moment, and we're just going to do a thin little mock-up to see what works. So the first round will definitely be in PLA, depending on how much flex and everything else. We might move to PetG, was it, or PegB? I can't remember what somebody said it was, but something else that will handle the heat a little bit better. It mostly depends on whether or not it ends up being structural. If this design could be structural, but if we end up going with a steel mount to hold these, and just printing the shroud out of it, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that will be the interesting one to see how that goes. And Chris is back, so now we can formally sign off after, I think it's been 2 hours. Yeah, we've been going pretty much 2 hours. That's actually pretty good. Average watch time is, according to this, 15.5 minutes, which means there's some people who've been really, really short on the stream.
Like a 15-minute average watch, the average viewer could have joined the stream at the moment when you started ranting about Autodesk.
Yeah, God
and
damn
left
it.
Before you finished.
Yes, probably about that. So yeah, thanks very much. Cheers, Aid. Thanks for joining us. We'll do another one either Wednesday or Thursday next week. Might be Wednesday next week. We shall see. And yeah, we'll be back on doing some more test rigging of this and a bit more work. Kind of, hopefully, potentially building this. We could put some cardboard into it and like design the shroud that way and work it out once we've got the bit printed and we can properly test. But if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. That'd be grand. Go back and watch all of our previous stuff. Even put it on in the background. That'd be swell.
Printer's warming up.
You know, watch time hours are always good. Thanks for joining on the stream. That does also help our watch time. Check out shop.pedalbox.show for merch like these and the t-shirts that are in a box just down there. Hoodies and hats we can get made up fairly quick. And if you want to support us directly...
Oh, I didn't realise you were pointing at me. I thought you were pointing at Yola for the lower third.
I think
Patreon.com/PedalBox Show.
No, she's put the shop on up, but she hasn't put the Patreon one up.
I can do Patreon.
Sorry, did you address Ash Pinner's comment about getting it done in metal at Shapeways? We could do that, but I have a 3D printer right there.
Yeah,
so.
we could, but like, we have a 3D printer on site, and we have steel and the bracketry, and we can weld up what we need on site. So between the two, we can sort it. Like the Shapeways stuff seems a little bit excessive, but yeah. Check out the stream next week as well. Check out Patreon and follow us on social media, which is the other media one, maybe. Which nope, that was shot again. Oh well.
There's only 2 media pools.
Continue shilling, Aid.
Yeah, I thought the other one. I thought you were just moving into the same one each time, but it's fine. We'll get all these like technical bits sorted out, and we probably won't be any better next time. But it's a learning process. Like to be fair, Yolanda has never vision mixed before because normally I do it, and I'm here, and I can just about kind of tap between cameras on the spacebar nice and easily. But Yolanda sets it all up to make life a little bit easier. So yeah. Like there should be some scrolling credits here. It's like presented by Chris and Aid, rants by Aid, CAD by Chris, vision mixing by Yolanda, audience by you guys. Yeah. So
Thank you, Wibble Wobble. You're the hero we need. I'm not sure you're the hero we deserve. I'm not sure we deserve a hero, but you're definitely the hero we need. Get us them watch hours.
Rice pudding.
Time for rice pudding.
It is in fact time for rice pudding. If you don't have rice pudding right now, honestly, that kind of sucks. But you should definitely get some rice pudding for next week. So 10 o'clock Wednesday, possibly Thursday. Get 2 lots of rice pudding, one for Wednesday, one for Thursday, just in case. Because you don't want to miss out and like hype yourself up for rice pudding, ready for one, and then not have it. So get 2 lots.
Longest outro ever.
Nah, well, I mean, of 2, yeah,
You need
maybe.
to tell me when to click the button.
Yeah, Yolanda should probably.
We're just going to be midway through saying something, and you're just going to go, right, you're done, and that'll be it.
Are you talking about it being like The Sopranos when it just cut off mid-sent?
She hasn't actually clicked it yet, I don't think.